Get ready to experience a game-changing force like no other. They are the architects of action, the powerhouses of execution, and the ultimate accelerators of success. On one side, you have Jim Morris, a master strategist, a business disruptor, and the guy who turns ideas into unstoppable momentum. On the other, producer Rachel, media powerhouse, storytelling genius, and the one who makes sure your brand isn't just seen, but remembered. Together, they are the driving force behind the Impact Effect community. 2 times the knowledge, 2 times the impact. 100% no BS. This is where action happens. Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
There we are.
Let's go.
Where do we go? Hi, everybody.
Every time I see
out. There we go.
Every time I see that video, I just get fired up, Rachel. Fired up.
I tried to match the audio, y'all. It just is. It is what it is. But I think we did good. I like it. I did a good job.
Producer Rachel in the house. She's no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be back. Like we were just chatting with Brian recently. What did we do? A little over 4.5 hours earlier. Came back another 45 minutes. Now we're headed for another 4 hours. So I'm excited. I'm jazzed up. Most people would be snoozing. Most people would be, tired. And I don't feel any of that. And I don't feel any of that because of the level of alignment and what we're doing, what we're building. And we're launching the Impact Effect app. Like, let's go. Come on.
Let's go. I love that everybody picks up on you saying that, like all of your people that have been into speaking engagements with you and in groups with you. It's so funny that everybody was texting, even Brian, who's coming up in a second, like, let's go. I'm like, oh my God, I love that that's caught on. And that's your thing. That's so hilarious. All right. So do you want to pitch Impact Effect community a little bit, or do you want to just get right into Brian since he's ready to go?
Well, I just want to say, first and foremost, I'm just grateful for everybody that joined the live today. We had every single person actually show up on time and brought some great, amazing energy, some knowledge, some stories, and it all related back to community and what we're building. And most of these folks, we're talking about the experiences they've had so far in the Impact Effect community. So I'm just grateful for everybody, and I'm super jazzed up. I'm super excited because we just have so many other folks coming on in the next few hours to talk about community, to talk about their life experiences, to talk about the things that have got them through the hard times, allowed them to grow, allowed them to continue to build and move through those tough and hard things, especially when growing and scaling. So I'm just excited for everybody that's coming up. I'm excited for you to do the intro to our next speaker, and I am just ready to roll tonight. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, everybody, bear with me. We all know by now. We're doing the best I can in this app. Okay, ready? Some music. We love it. Our next guest turned athletic grit into billion-dollar growth, rewriting the playbook for unstoppable teams. Please welcome 10X leader Brian Covey. Sorry, Brian. Covey. You know how many times I said Covey in my head? And then it was like, of course, the one thing I mess up is your last name. Brian Covey. Let me change the background real quick. Yeah. Hi. It's nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, this is legit, guys. And I was recording all that when it came on because I was on earlier. I thought, I'm going to capture this. We're going to get the moment. So we'll repost it out there. And yeah, we're going to have some fun tonight.
Do you want me to do your intro again so I don't mess it up?
No, I think we should. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, it wouldn't be the first time I've told someone, do it again.
Hey,
but I guess it's live and that's how it is. You know, when you say something over and over in your head and then you just do the opposite. Yeah, that's what happened.
Welcome. Talking point now. Everybody's like, which one is it? Which one is it? I'm like, cool. Opens a combo.
There you go. Well, that's true too. It does open a combo. Well, welcome. I appreciate you. Jim, you want to take it away with them?
Yeah. Brian, community, impact, the things, what you've been up to, your life, man. Like, I'm just excited to talk through all of this, all of this. Um, Obviously, you surround yourself with a pretty tight inner circle. You've done, when Rachel was talking about all the things, right? You've got an amazing book. You've got a banging podcast. You're always in these circles of people and part of these deep, deep communities. And you've just continued to grow and to grow and to grow. And you are someone that Jim Morris admires. You show up, you put family first, you say you're going to do things, you do them, you play all out, you dive 100% in. And you've always supported me since the day we met, had lunch, and have chatted. So I just want to hear about how instrumental community has been for you and what your experience has been with Impact Effect in this community.
Right. Well, I remember the day we got connected up from a mutual friend, and we met at Golf Sanctuary, now Sanctuary Golf and Social, and we're having lunch. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. And we start sharing our stories, and a lot of times we overlook those stories are the connection points. And you would share things, and it really was revealing to me. It was revealing your values and who you were. And then over time, that just backs up with action. So I just want to affirm you, because that day, a lot of people don't take that initiative of reach out to people in your community, reach out to people you want to build a relationship with. And when you get with them, like, don't waste that opportunity of connect. And we connect through stories. And so I share that with people. So, that's how we all can connect and go deeper, faster, which a lot of times we're looking for, because look, worlds are moving fast. I got 3 kids. We were talking about that. I know, this life, and it's like kids are going this way. Nicole and I'll be married 23 years in August. I'm like running a business, trying to do all these things. And for all of us out there, how you are able to connect with people and your ability to go deep with them and beyond the surface level, where I think a lot of people get stuck. And, Jim, I see this all the time, is they get stuck on the surface level, trying to impress people instead of just sitting back and listening. Like, what are they saying? And the stories reveal their experiences, their character, what they care about, where their priorities lie. And you can then decide, do I want to go deeper with this person? Or is this somebody that's going to be, as I say, is like in my outer community, right? Which is not a bad thing, but it's somebody that maybe I'm not going to go as deep with. You decide through that. So I remember that day you were sharing things with me that our values aligned up. And what I did was I made a decision. I want to get to know you better. I want to spend time with you. And then over that time with Impact Effect, and then coming to the live event, by the way, one of my favorites, and getting to meet people in the community and see you do your thing in front of people, and your passion, I will say your preparation, how you dealt with some adversity. Obviously, you know what I'm talking about, the screens and all the drama going on there. I got a chance to see you in action and go, this is somebody I want to spend more time with. And so I share all that with people. So, like, that's what I think about you. When I think about you, is all the things you've done and all the values and the things we connect. But it's also something I'm honored, because you're on a mission, and I look at it as an honor for me to come alongside. And how do I just add some fuel and fire to that so more people know what you do and they come connect up, bro? Because you know this. If you don't have the right people in your life, you're not getting through this alone.
What's life at that point, right?
Yeah, it's not worth it. I mean, I can tell you, being married almost 23 years, and then just recently making a pretty big career move, and moving over to Cross Country Mortgage, as you start to realize who are the people really in your inner circle. And you shared that earlier, Jim, and I wish I'd known this earlier. And so I'll kind of just drop this for people. Is one of the lessons I've learned that I love to impart is, I wish 10 years ago I'd gone deeper with people in my life. Probably started that about 5 years ago. And I found some people that, thank goodness, we aligned on our faith. We aligned on our love for fitness. We aligned on our love for how do we make a difference. And like you talk about, impact, that's the whole idea of your community. And I've gone really deep with some of those people, which, by the way, that one person just introduces you to one other person, right? When I've gone to these community events, I never know like who God has on the other side of that, of like, I show up and I think I'm there to like listen to the speaker, and I just happen to meet someone else and realize, oh, that's who you had in mind for me. And then we just strike up a friendship. And so I am blessed, because there's a group of us, and one of the most impactful groups is a group of really, it's 6 guys, and we've been on this text thread for a few years, and you know who some of them are. And dude, some of those guys I've called in my darkest hours and my most difficult decisions of like, I could go this way, I could go that way. Hey, you've probably been here before. Like, what would you do? What should I be looking for? And if you don't have those people, I would just encourage you, start to get those people in your life. And how you do it is what I shared with you, is what Jim did. Reach out to them and be you, be authentic, and show up when people say that. Is just start to share some of your stories, what you believe, where you're going. I am much more interested about where you're going and what your vision is than I ever am about, like, we all have a past that we'd love to change things. We have a past that we probably look back, we wish we could, do this way or that way. We have accolades, like successes. I'm just going to tell you, most of my closest people, we really don't care about your trophies and your awards and your successes, and it just doesn't matter. You're in that room, you're meeting with them. They care about your future and what your vision is, and is that aligned with where they're going? And can you do bigger things together? That's the truth.
I think that's amazing. And I'm going to admit something that like is kind of embarrassing, but I avoided this for so long. I avoided connecting with other human beings for so long. And I don't know if it's because I didn't have a clear vision. I didn't know what my purpose was, or maybe I just didn't trust people. I went kicking and screaming to an event to meet people, and I hid behind my camera. I made it like a job, right? Because I was like, okay, well, if I can hide behind my camera, people can see what I do, because I cover events and stuff like that and do like recap reels. And so it was like my safety net, right? It was the border between me and other people. So, but I wasn't connecting. And until I could literally reach people and just have a conversation on a level of, hi, just getting to know you, and not what I can do for you or what you can do for me, just like literally being interested in people, it completely changed my life. It was hard at first. I'm one of those like introverted people until I like sort of get to know a situation. But it wasn't until like really getting to know people and understanding, like, are there some like weird people out there or people that you can't trust or don't align with you? Sure. But to find the beauty or in the people that do align with you, you have to create those connections. So, Brian, with everything that you do, because you do a bunch of different things that do connect with people, the podcast, and you do believe in community. You show up for your community all the time. I love your posts on social media. You're very family first. When you're growing a business and you're going through these growing pains, how do you make time for all of the things? I think that that's something I'm having a hard time with. I feel like some people say you just focus on whatever ball's in the air. But I'm trying to figure out, like, how do I put family first and also my community first? How do I do all the things? I'm having a hard time with that. And I would love your message on that.
Well, one, I love this question, by the way, because I think to this is, Rachel, I struggled with this really, really bad. And my wife would tell you, we had our first two kids in 2007 and 2008. And so if you know anything about the mortgage business, what people think we're going through right now, not even close to comparison. Like, I lost my job. The world was coming to an end. There was what's called a mortgage implodometer. So companies were going out of business and people didn't know. They would show up and find out their company shut down. And so I paint that picture for you so you know, like, what was happening in my life. And I'm going through that with two kids, and then end up taking a job. I'm staying at the bank and I'm doing whatever I can do. I remember just raising my hand, like, what do you need? I need a job. I need to work. And I remember sacrificing things. And I say sacrifice because it was like I was putting my career, my job, my paycheck, all these things before it. My health was crap. I wasn't around as much, and Nicole would share that. And so I share all that. So, like, I went through a season and did some things that if I could go back, I would have adjusted. Right. And so the wiser, older Brian now can give wisdom, because we were blessed to have our third kid, Henry, who's 9. And I got what I say is like a chance to do it over. And imagine if you were to get a chance to like do some things in life over. And so I'll share with you some real practical wisdom that the younger Brian would have really benefited from. And so if you're kind of relating to the younger Brian and you got young kids or put yourself in that spot, there is what I believe a mindset shift that we all need to think about. And there's a word that's used a lot, and I'm going to just lean in on this, is we hear work-life balance. We hear what I use is work-life integration, and I'll kind of break that down. But I think we get hung up on these words, and I just want to give you permission to, like, screw the word. Like whatever balance means to you, if you think that's balance, the reality is if you look up definitions of balance, it is not equal weights and equal parts. And I think we want to categorize it that way. It is not that. So if you think work-life balance is what's going to give you freedom, cool. Figure out and define what that is. And what I mean by that is you need to decide, I believe, in 90-day sprints. This has worked for me. In the next 90 days, there are priorities in your life that need to happen. It could be your health right now. And you say, I've got to get my health in order. I am not where I need to be in the next 90 days. That's going to move up my priority list, which means your schedule needs to have that programmed in. You need to be very intentional. You need to be dialing in everything from your food to your workouts and all that. Now, it also does not mean your family gets leftovers. It means for you that you've got certain allocations of time that you can work through. And what's worked for us, I'm gonna get very tactical and practical because I want to just kind of jump from 30,000 feet. So let's jump into it. Sunday nights, Nicole and I look at our schedule and we actually look at what the kids have going on. There's 3 kids, they're all in sports, they're all active. The first thing that's most important to us is how do we make sure we're there for our kids? Because I got one graduating going to college, one's a sophomore, and then of course our youngest is 9. Can't drive himself yet. So we get to drive him around, be the Uber drivers. If I get those schedules in my calendar on Sunday night, we go through it, who's taking who there. Even like tonight, I'm doing this. Nicole's got Henry going to lacrosse. Last night was me taking Henry to soccer. And I'm gonna come back to that in a minute because I'm gonna give you a really cool hack to that one. But you wanna put those in. And then you wanna move, for me, I move into my health. Because if I don't have my health, I really do believe the cliche, health is wealth. And I've got my same day workouts. Now, I'll give you a real life. This happened today. I had meetings because I changed companies. There's things going on that it's just a different schedule. I'm in a different season. And so today, I literally went and worked out at 4:45 because my day started at like 7 a.m. and it's just been back to back to back to back. And so what I would say is 5-6 days out of the week, I'm going to work out at my 8:45 in my class. It's blocked on my schedule. It's done. Right. So that's just what works for me. I get to see all my kids before they go to school. I get some calls done before I go work out. Then right after that at 10 o'clock, I am jamming. Like I am locked in. I don't go do lunches with people very often at all. And it's locked in. Now, the third one I'll tell you is I'm kind of moving through priorities. I look at that with Nicole and I'm looking at our money. Because if you don't look where your money's going, it is going to go somewhere else and you're not going to know where it is. It's going to tell you, very intentional. Younger Brian didn't pay attention to that as much. Older, wiser Brian, I look and I'll go, what are we doing this week? What's coming in? Who are we giving to? What are we investing in? What are the bills coming up? Like you got to plan these things as you go through. And then the last category I'll tell you is you got to have time for friends, doing events. I always say like date nights. We've done 3 date nights, which is very unique in the last week because I changed companies and I needed more just time with Nicole to let her know, hey, I am a little bit more stressed. Hey, I am getting pulled in a lot of directions. Hey, here's what I'm experiencing. Here's what's going on. You have to over communicate in those seasons. So if you're going through change or about to, the best advice I can give you is over communicate. Okay. Let me give you some real fun stuff. Last night, I'm at Henry's soccer. I was telling you about that. Here's what I've learned is Henry's at soccer. He doesn't need me to coach him. He doesn't need me to watch him. I can just kind of do my thing. I was jogging and walking for about 2 hours off and on, and I listened to 2 really cool podcasts. I returned about 5 phone calls. So I want you to envision this. If you say you don't have time, that's your mental roadblock today. I'm at practice. I would say maybe 20% of the people were walking, jogging, doing something outside of sitting in their chair and just talking to other parents. And I would just ask you, who do you want to be? If you say you want to be healthy, if you say you want to be connected to people, if you say you want to grow your business, in that 2 hours, not only did I get 3.5 miles, and I think I walked another 1.5 miles or something, but I got 5 phone calls, I listened to 2 amazing podcasts. That's in 2 hours. By the way, why my kids at soccer? So to me, that's integrating what's there. Tonight, I'll give you an example. 4:45 workout. My daughter's come home from school. I get a workout for her. She's working out with me. Henry comes out there as well. He does a little workout. He's doing some things. That's family time. And so I just want you to see, like I share those stories so you know, like we overcomplicate this thing. Like I got time with 2 of my kids doing that. And last night, I got time to do work and to feed my personal development. How often are we missing these opportunities? It's almost like when you see the white car and I say, go look for the white car, you're going to see it everywhere. I want you to start, my challenge to you is start looking for opportunities in your schedule that you can be more intentional in your Sunday night planning. And then secondly, look for these opportunities where you can combine things. I'm not talking about multitasking. I'm just saying, if I'm walking, I could listen to music. I could listen to nothing. I could feed my mind with a podcast, right? Jim, you know this. Like, how do you feed your mind? Feed it, man. While you're walking, it's the best time that I think you're the most receptive to actually get new information. And then from that, my conversations last night, I was actually sharing things I learned from the podcast. That is how you take action and move forward. So I just want to give you like, that's Brian. I'm still a work in progress. I'm figuring stuff out, but that's how I attack things.
So Brian, on those tired days though, right? Like, because people will fit it in different times. Brian's not saying you have to do 4:45. Fit it in when you can, right? What do you do on those tired days where you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted? Like, what motivates you? Is it my why? Is it my purpose? Like, what will get me? Because right now I belong to a gym. I call it my fat tax. I haven't gone. I pay it, but I don't go, right?
Mhm.
But it is something I want to change. We're running up against the summer. My kids will be home. I want to be able to spend time with them. So what motivates you? What gets you going when it's those times where you're like, I am so tired right now. I don't think I can go to the gym. I don't know how to spend time with my kids right now. What is your motivator?
Well, welcome to the club. Welcome. And I mean that because here's what I've learned. The highest performers and people that you and I, and we all follow, and we look at them, we're like, wow, how do they do it? How do they do it? They struggle with this very thing. So I'm gonna give you 3 things that have helped me. One is we need to reframe the whole thing. And this sounds cliche, but I'm gonna tell you, when I got my brain really attached to this is I don't have to go work out. I don't have to go listen to a podcast. I don't have to join this call and promote my friend's community. I get to do this. I literally get to do this. And several years ago, when I tore my bicep and had surgery, I couldn't lift a glass of water for 90 days. I couldn't do the things, but I got to ride a bike. I got to go walking. And I'll never forget, that got perspective for me of how much am I taking for granted in my life that I get to go do? And so one of my coaches shares this, and this is, again, you need to put in self-talk that will motivate you. I can't tell you what that is. For me, my coach would always say, your standards have to be stronger than your feelings. So when I feel that way, I recognize it's a feeling. Okay? And one of the best things that was ever shared with me from a mentor years ago was, you can act your way into a better way of feeling a lot faster than you can ever feel your way into a better way of acting. Meaning, you need to go take a step forward. You need to go walk outside. You need to just start moving your body, because sitting there and hoping that your feelings are going to eventually change and you're going to feel like working out, you're waiting for something that will never happen. And so the self-talk is, what are your standards? And so I would, in a way, if you're okay with this, Rachel, just challenge, until you get committed to those standards. I was interested years ago. I was interested in working out. I was interested in getting healthier. I was interested in my finances improving. Until you get really clear on what your standards are and who you are. Now, what I did to anchor this for me is, a lot of people make fun of me. They joke about it, but this works for me. I share my workouts. I post on social what I've done. That is actually me being self-accountable to myself. And by the way, there are guys in my circle that will call me out if I haven't worked out. They'll go, hey man, didn't see anything. Did you work out? And some of us worked out together, but there needs to be people in your life that will call you out. There need to be people in your life that, I do an InBody every month. And I post those results and share those with a very select group. If you don't have a scoreboard and you don't have something that's moving you forward, so guess what motivates me? Well, is every month I have a scoreboard. And if my body composition in the InBody sucks, that means I either didn't get my diet right or I didn't work out. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And I love, again, I go back to these 90-day sprints, but I would just reposition the whole thing, is I only need you to think about just attacking and winning today. Don't worry about tomorrow. This just literally happened to me. So I want you to kind of walk through my self-talk that I just had, Rachel, literally. Got the whole day. I've got all these calls. All these things are happening. I'm like, I'm going to go work out here. Nope. Got another call coming up. Nope. Got another call coming up. Nope. Got another call coming up. And then I just made a decision and said, I'm working out at 4:45. Now, by the way, this was about 3:00. And I just said, I'm cutting off more calls. I will catch them up later. I'll do them later, or I'll do them tomorrow. But I've said I'm going to work out. And so how do I do that? I just said, I have an appointment with myself, 4:45. I know my kids are going to be home. I know what's going to happen. I go down, we work out, and we're jamming. So you've got to have, in a way, the standard that you've set, and then something that's going to just one decision away. That's it.
It's those it's those small moments of action, right? And that's what we talk about in the community. And it's that small step, because that small step turns to a bigger step. That bigger step turns to a small jog. That small jog turns to a hyperburst. That hyperburst turns to a run. That run turns to a sprint. And if you know where you're going and you want to get there, you're not going to go from the small step to the sprint. You're going to go from the small step to the walk, to the big step, to the run. So I couldn't agree more with you. I think also too, you brought up interested. You were interested in it. And what I downloaded from that conversation was, until you became committed, and what you just said about at 3:00 determining the situation of, I'm doing this at 4:45. That's commitment. That's commitment to yourself, discipline, and the goal at hand. So I admire you sharing that and giving us the real raw stuff, because that's what we are about in Impact Community, right? We want the real raw stuff. The other thing that I was just blown away with and amazed was at the end of the day, you talk about the scoreboard. And I think if you're not tracking it and you're not understanding those goals, those big rocks, those monumental movements that come with micro adjustments and small steps, then where are we actually going, right? And one of the things I'm so excited about, and I'm excited to hear this from producer Rachel, because we can build this into your 4 disciplines of execution, is to navigate and walk our community members through that, where we build the scoreboard. We track exactly if you're winning or losing, and we relate it back to your lead measures and your lags. And in those times and in those moments, it's visible to everybody, right? And we'll do that in our accountability groups, where we bring in 4 people. We have all 4 of those folks run a specific task within the group. So for instance, someone's tracking time, someone's tracking notes, someone's the leader, and then someone's logistics, right? Like, how do we get everybody in the room at the same time? And as you're talking about it, it just reminds me of the monumental growth that I've had and the success has always come from reviewing the scoreboard. Like, it's like, okay, are we going to move the needle? And is it moving? All right, it's moving. It's moving. It's moving. Okay, let's reforecast. It's not moving fast enough. What are we going to do today on the 12th of the month to get to the goal by the 30th, rather than, oh, tomorrow's the 30th, we're screwed, we're not going to hit the goal, right? And we know, and Brian, and producer Rachel, and anybody who's heard anything come out of Jim Morris's mouth in the last 2 years knows that we have to adjust and we have to reforecast. And I'm not just talking about a spreadsheet. I'm not just talking about financials or a P&L. I'm talking about the adjustment and the reforecast in every single one of those big rocks that you're exploring and navigating to accomplish that thing on where you want to go and how you want to live. So for Brian, in this case, his big rock is family. He just said it. Number 1. Number 2 is health. If Brian's going to push those 2 things aside, and in this case today, not work out, not get things in, then is he really committed? Is he really tracking? Because he knows, hey, in order to hit those goals, I need to get this done today. So I just thank you for just going into the real raw truth around your real life. I think it's admirable to share those things, especially around what's happened an hour and a half, 2 hours ago,
Well, brother, if I can add, Rachel, you asked something I didn't really fully answer, but I'm gonna give you something as Jim, you were talking, and this may resonate with some people. Is you asked me what's my motivation, and outside of like my kids and my youngest walking out there and seeing me work out, I reframed this, and it's kind of like a Michael Jordan thing. If you remember back, like Michael Jordan would create these like fake enemies in a way, like people said things about him that were not even true. Well, I kind of adopted that same approach in attacking my life. And I think about the type of leader that Brian is becoming, and would other people want to follow and be on my team if I said I was committed in doing these things, but I didn't actually do them? And for me, there's like that lack of congruency and integrity I'll just say it pisses me off. I do not want to be that person. I am not perfect. I am far from it. But if there's things that I say I'm going to do and I can do them, even a 15-minute workout would have checked the standard for me for today. Now that 15-minute workout probably would have been like all out, right? You know what I mean? But I think about that. If you really want to get to my core, that's what in the times of like really tough decisions and I'm wavering and I'm like, I think about, am I acting as if that leader that I've asked people to follow and entrusted, and I've said, this is who I am. Is that who I really am when people aren't watching? And for me, that has to be as congruent and as close. Like I have to get them as close as possible, recognizing perfection is not the actual desire. I just want to be as close to that ideal version of myself that I've created and said, these are the standards at which Brian's going to live by as a husband, as a father, as a leader. And I think the closer and the more clarity you can get of that person you want to become, then you know what they would do in times of tough decisions. You know what they would do when times are just tough. And you know what they would do when times are good. Become that person more and more every day, just one decision at a time.
And I've done those exercises where you visualize, right, the person that you want to become. And I think at first it's awkward because you don't understand like how you're going to get there until you literally start taking that first step. And what lit up for me, with what both of you said, was the little actions, right? I think of like health. I look at this overall vision of health and it's like, no, what is the one thing I can do today, right now? We're not worried about what's going to happen down the road. And also, once you start doing these things, we've talked about this before, the goalposts move, right? So like maybe it's to lose a certain amount of weight, or maybe it's to walk for a certain period of time. Well, once I hit that goal, do you think that that's going to be the end of the goal? No, the goalposts move. And so that lit up for me because I really do believe in micro actions. Maybe in the moment, it doesn't feel like you're doing a lot, but success for me now isn't about money and wealth and all those things. It's about just showing up for myself. Did I show up for myself today to do the things that I said that I wanted to do just today? Same thing with food. Like if I'm deciding to eat something, make that right choice for that one meal. Don't worry about the rest of the meals for the rest of the week. Just make that one choice in that moment. So there's something about those micro choices and those micro movements that really in the long run add up. And I think that that was my biggest problem for the longest time, is I kept looking at these big pictures, right? A lot of times I'll visualize my life as like this paint by numbers, or like, you remember those little, where it was like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And I would, whether it's God, the universe, whatever you believe in, I would try to like push the hand, right? No, we're going to go from 1 to here, 1 to 10. What are we doing? We have to take these other steps. Like I would force it, right? I would be like, no, this is what we're going to do. And it would never work out for me because I wasn't taking aligned action. I wasn't believing in these little steps that the universe, God, whatever, was putting together for me. So that all just totally lit up for me, and it makes complete sense. And that's why I love what we're doing in the community, because we're not just like throwing these giant courses in there and saying, okay, have fun. We're showing up every day and we're going to create micro actions, micro steps, and we're going to do them with you. We're going to learn and grow along with you. So thank you for that.
Good.
That like literally like just motivated me. I feel really good.
I'll give you a bonus. And this is what I've learned from studying like high performers and my sports background, and now being a dad and like watching this. I think where most of us, and me included, when we make one bad decision, let's say we had the one bad meal, we skip the one workout, we have one thing that just doesn't go our way, a lot of us will let that turn into multiple days. multiple things. Let's just say, for example, I have a bad start to my day. I'm supposed to work out in the morning and I don't do it. Your ability to get back on track and recognize that's one mistake, that's one thing. You have the entire day and all these hours ahead to get back on track. And that one thing will actually not matter as much as you start to do the others. And then tomorrow you just get one step better, one step better. And I know the younger version of me, and I think back to, I would let one bad decision, one bad day become 2 days. And then I don't work out for 2 days. Then I don't work out for 3 days. And then crap, it's a week. Your ability to recognize a pattern and to see that one decision and be aware that, hey, you know what, that didn't go like I wanted it to go, but I'm cool. I'm free to make my next choice and choices in this day to get myself back on track. I was just like, man, I wish I'd understood that sooner in life, because I let those things, I would self-destruct. I go through the cycle of like blame myself and I'm guilty. And I'm like, you know, it's a cycle you don't want to be a part of. So break the cycle, move, get the next decision right, and then just keep going. Like, hope that helps people, because I was there.
Well, and giving yourself grace, right? Like, Jim, we've talked about that. Like, you have to give yourself grace. Like, okay, so you made one bad decision. That's fine. You can fix it with the next one. It doesn't have to tip every domino over, right? I love it.
I think too is Brian, when Brian was just talking about, the family first approach and setting his schedule, and doesn't want to be the person that lies to his team, essentially, right? Like, Brian wants to say he's going to live that life. So Brian lives that life so he can get on stages, he can coach his team, he can work with and grow the business at a level of honesty and integrity, so he can show up and feel and be himself in those moments and not have to hide or, BS, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. It's bullshit. And we tend to live in a world where we see a lot of that. So when I hear Brian say that, it's the same conversation Brian and I had 5 or 6 months ago. And he told me that behind the stage before we went out to go speak. And I just want to share with you, Brian, how impactful that was for me, because I had to make a decision this year with a new baby who, just turned, is coming up on 5-6 months, right? Like, it's such a gift to hear the truth from Brian about 07, 08, 09, when those things happened, and for him to say, I would have adjusted that, man. I would have. So let me pour into you, Jim. Let me tell you the truth. Let me get real with you. Let me be vulnerable with you. And the same way that Brian poured into me behind stage impacted me to make a decision this year to create one of my goals around the 4 disciplines of execution. One of my big rocks that I'm tracking is I will not wake up more than 20 nights away from my family. And Brian pushed me to create that goal, and he shared that story with me and was real and raw and vulnerable to a point where I could take action on it. I could familiarize around it. I could relate to it. And when Brian said, I will never be the person that says that on stage and doesn't live it, I made that same commitment that day, Brian. And I put that in my goals for this year. I put it as one of my big rocks. And I'll tell you what, Jim Morris, may not be traveling a lot the rest of the year, because I've got about 11 of those days coming up in April where I'm on the road. But what that did was it pushed me to make a decision my heart knew I needed to make. And that's what we do in the Impact Effect community. We share the raw, real stuff that gives you the opportunity to relate, to familiarize, and to have a back and forth connection where you can take that stuff and implement it, right? What Brian did for me that caused such an impactful movement and change and shift in my mind, my heart, and my family, we are going to do that for you as a member of the community. We're going to give you the raw, real stuff. We're going to give you what we struggle with. We're going to give you the solutions. And if we don't have the answers, guess what? We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to make it up, and we're not going to bullshit you. What we're going to do is we're going to go to war on your behalf, because you're a member of Impact Effect community. You're family to us, and we're going to leverage the resources and go find those answers with you and for you. And when I start to say this, and I can feel the blood pressure rise, because I get so excited about the opportunity to serve. and the opportunity to give back what Brian gave to me 6 months ago backstage. I mean, let's just be real. Who knows where my marriage would be in 8 months if me and Brian didn't have that real raw conversation? Who knows where my career would be? Who knows where the most important things in my life, like my kids, would be facing and suffering from? So I just appreciate you always shooting me straight, Brian. I appreciate you always, telling it how it is and just pushing me to be better and showing up for this community, this Impact Effect community. Brian spoke at virtuals. He's been on stages. He's here tonight. And I'm just grateful for you. And I'm just excited about what we're building. I'm excited for you to be a part of it. I'm excited to launch the app and get everything in one place. I know Brian and I talked about this a couple of years ago when we met.
Exciting.
And I was like, I got to get everything together so I can really pour in and lead from a place of strength. And that's where we're at today. We're at today where everything's in the community, everything's coming, and we're being agile and adjustable to what our members need and how we can show up and service them the most.
Dude, I'm so proud of you, man. And for sharing the story, but also staying committed to your vision and bringing in people, producer Rachel. And I look around your team you're building and what you're doing. I think if people are looking for a community, and that's one of the things I share is I wish I had that sooner, and that's not your work. Obviously we're active in our church, we got friends and all that stuff, but I think you need an entrepreneurial community that's going through the struggles you are. And until I found that, especially for me, it's like, married businessman with kids, right? Like that was my thing years ago of like, how do you guys do this? You got to find people that have done it and a walk through life. Jim, and I just want to add on to what you shared is now, Nicole and I have this, and this may help somebody listening, is we just went through my entire travel for the next 6 months and said yes and no to things together. And so if you're married, I would just encourage you with this is the next level for us after we even talked, Jim, is now I brought those before Nicole and said, here's how they line up to our overall goals for us. Here's how this helps grow the business, or this helps, me and my personal development. Like, is this a yes or no? And we agree on those. And sometimes we have to talk about them and we don't always agree. Nicole wins. I'll just say she wins. She's my wife and like, she's going to win. But if you're not doing some of that, those are the conversations that you need to have and go, is it moving us forward? And like your 20 nights being the standard there. When you start to set those, watch how your life starts to align up. And this friction that we all feel, it seasons because you're not aligned. And when you're not aligned, I'm just telling you, life is not meant to be hard like that for long seasons. It's not. You'll have little intermittent seasons, but just take that as I shared with you. And if you get anything out of this, is being strategic and intentional and having clarity about those things. And especially if you're married, like your greatest gift is your spouse. And so leverage that and talk about these decisions together versus being over here and they're over there. So that's, dude, I'm leveling up all the time, man. I'm learning stuff from my mentors and people. And I'm like, if I can share it and help one other person, I will share it.
Talk to me a little bit about what you've been working on. I saw you give a speech recently. I saw a really cool word attached to it that I align with. Tell us about it, man.
Oh, the presence effect.
Let's go.
Oh man. Well,
I know we don't have to get to the juicy part, but just give us the preview.
Well, let me just share this with you is, when you're doing the work, and for everybody out there listening, when you're part of a community, like what you've got set up at Impact Effect, is when you're around people, I think all of us have this level of, in a way, like curiosity. We also have some creativity that's yet to be unlocked. And you need to be around other people. And this idea started coming to me is like, if you think about, you remember the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Yeah.
You producer Rachel, do you know how old that book is? Do you know when it was written?
No idea.
It's almost 100 years old. Do you think it's still relevant today based on 100 years later and what's changed?
100%. I mean, the only thing that isn't relevant is some of the old stories attached to the concepts. And it's not relevant. It's just the industry has changed and evolved to a level that maybe someone who's, 15, 20 years old might not get. But the concept is, I mean, it's one of my favorite books, man. It's one of my strengths is winning over others. Where do you think a lot of that came from?
You do this exceptionally well. And so I frame it up that way. It's like, if you've read that book, if you haven't, you need to go read it. That's one of the books that influenced me. And so I start with that because I think things have changed a lot. People are building personal brands. We have online social media. People actually can frame up a thought and reputation about you before you get on stage, before you walk into a room, before you make that presentation, before you even meet someone. They've actually probably got some kind of framework about who you are. And they've judged you. Let's just call it what it is. Like, they've judged you. And so wouldn't it be cool if you could actually show up online and in person in a way that was congruent? And then secondarily, what I stumbled upon kind of doing this research and going through it is, I actually believe your presence is the greatest gift you can give another person. You think back to when I wasn't there as much for our first two kids, when I have been there a lot more with our youngest, when I'm fully present in a meeting, I know it. You know it. And wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to codify your presence, how you show up in such a way that's not faked, it's not manipulated, it's none of that stuff. It's truly just understanding who you are, your unique gifts and your talents. And your presence effect is taking all of your energy, it's taking all of your physical presence that's there, and it's connecting with people in such a way that when you're gone a week, a month, a year later, your presence is still felt because it's transferable. And so what I'm teaching people how to do, it's a very simple 4-step process. I'm not going to go into it, but I will tell you, Jim, I am thrilled because I got a chance to present it with our friend over at Brand Builders and that group. And I'll just tell you, like, we ripped it apart. We're like, this is good. We need to change this. We need to do this. And we left going, man, this is probably going to be a book. This is going to be a keynote.
First thought I had.
Yep. And it's going to be a keynote. I'm giving 3 coming up in mortgage world. And dude, I'm so excited because I went through it, and I'll tell you how I knew it was something that God had placed in my heart. As I went back, and the first 4 letters of presence is PRES. Our oldest daughter's name is Presley.
Ooh, full body goosebumps. Let's go.
So when you know you've stumbled upon something that is going to change lives, like what you're doing in the community, like you knew, like I've seen your vision, like you're acting, you're doing it, you're getting the app out, like you're doing all these things. I know this presence effect is going to help school teachers, coaches, parents, young people in school that, like, no one taught us how to have presence, man. Like, I remember going through sports and they're like, you got to have presence. You got to be the strong person. You got to do this. And I'm like, how? So, bro, we're going to equip people in such a way that they show up truly authentic to who they are. They're able to know who their gifts are, but there really is a teachable format that we can leave people better than before and equip them to go out in the world and have their presence felt long after they've left the room. Their legacy after they do pass, because let's face it, we're all going to die someday. Wouldn't it be cool if your presence was felt in the things that you wanted to do in this life, you actually did? And so, bro, yeah, I get goosebumps even thinking about it because as I've done the work, I am easily over 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the depth that you need, and that's the depth that you excel at, right? I mean, it was something for me where I was like, I've spent a lot of time on human connection, but I need to get deeper. 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 And it can be tiring when you read contradicting research or you read subjective opinion. But when you move through that, and like you're talking about that feeling that you have, when you move through that and you determine, and you bring it to a small group or an intimate setting or friends or the impact effect community to get feedback, right? Like, and then you take it out in the world. Whew, that level of depth shows up in conversation. It shows up in body language. It shows up in charisma. It shows up in energy. And I can feel it, man. I can feel it. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to be in the room. I'm excited to get the goosebumps again.
Yeah, I can't wait to to share it with your community, because I really do believe, based on where we are and all the research that I've done, and this is one, I know there's a problem because you look at there's stats, and I'll give you 3 quick ones. We pick up our phone over 100 times a day, the average person. Our attention span is now around 6 seconds, like less than a goldfish. And the amount of multitasking that we're doing, our presence is going the wrong way. And the cure for the problem is actually your presence. And I want you to think about, like, when you're sitting down with your 5-year-old or 5-month-old, you're sitting with your wife, you're sitting with someone really important. Your presence is what they want. And if you don't know how to give it to them, you've missed an opportunity. You don't get that opportunity back sometimes. And so I look at this as, it's a big problem. And we're going to help people that are willing to lean in, willing to do the work. And it is not a quick fix. It is, I will just tell you, it is messy as I'm going through it myself. But I am now catching myself in patterns in my own life of when I'm not present. Why am I not present? How do I get my presence back? And I will tell you, the times that I've been there, I've had people tell me, they're like, dude, you were locked in. They'll say things like that. Or you were so focused, or you were in your zone. That's what we want to teach people how to do. So wherever you are, you show up as the best you.
Brian Covey, let's go.
No,
Come
I'm
on.
taking it back,
Mic
Brian.
drop.
That is incredible. So I'm going to put a little graphic up for people that want to get in touch with you. If you have information beyond this graphic, please let us know. What's the best way to contact you?
I'm going to send people, if you go to LinkedIn, we've got a weekly newsletter. And I would tell you right now, that is the thing that is growing the fastest. And I'm putting out the most information for a community like you guys and the entrepreneurs and people that are driven, and personal development is something important, is on LinkedIn. Connect up with me, follow our newsletter. I think we've got a little over 8,400 or so subscribers. And again, it's weekly. And I'm giving you something in 3 minutes or less that you can read, a newsletter that is no fluff, no BS. Like, we cut to it, and I'm giving you relevant topics like we talked about tonight, frameworks with an actionable takeaway. Like, your CTA is like, to go do this week, today. And so I think you'll find a lot of just quick hit application. And then what I would encourage you is you do that. Share it with friends, and share it with people. If you have a team or your family or people that you care about, like, this now puts you in an authority position to go, hey, here's what I read about team building. Here's what I read about recruiting, presence effect, like whatever it might be, like we talked about today, work-life integration. Now you get to go share something that you learned with someone else and just pay that forward. So that's the goal. That's the newsletter. And we're going to keep pouring into that one, because I'm finding that that's changing people. I get the notes, and I'm sure like you do with the community. Man, when people send me a note and like, man, this changed how I thought about that. Or I did this that you challenged me to do. And I'm like, yes, yes. That's
Thank
winning.
you so much. That's incredible. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us. I'm going to have you step down off the stage. I really appreciate you being here. I think I just learned so much in like such a short amount of time. Mind blown. Thanks,
Appreciate you guys.
Brian. All right, Jim, do you want to talk about impact effect a little bit while I get the next person ready to go? Next person, are you good to go? Give me a thumbs up. Stefana, I love you. All right, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, Jim.
So Impact Effect community, we offer all our members a free Go High Level membership. What's Go High Level? It's a CRM, customer relationship management software, but it's much more than that. What it is forms, building surveys, getting feedback, creating workflows, triggers setting up when someone responds to something, what goes out, what's the next communication level, payment integration, setting up payment links, setting up invoices, signing contracts, e-signing. There's so much to do within Go High Level, and it's so important to integrate your systems into one house so you have a ton of leverage over your time and can utilize that time to continue to grow your business. Rather than sign into an app, you get logged out, two-factor authentication, right? And next thing you know, it's been 22 minutes and all you were trying to do is send someone your calendar link to have a conversation to see if they're a good fit and if you can impact them positively. So Go High Level has changed my world. It's changed my business. And it's done so much where producer and Rachel and I talked, we want to give that to all the community members. We want to set you up for success, and we care. And we care because we know the impact that it can make when it gives you back time. And just like Brian said, time to integrate your life and your business, time to spend with family, whether it's children, cousins, uncles, nephews, some of those elderly folks that, you may only see 4 or 5 times again. So I just want to reiterate the fact that not only are we giving you this, and it costs, $100 and something a month, it's going to eliminate, probably, if you're anything like me, it'll eliminate almost $900 of expenses. And it's an all-in-one system. We have trainings. We're going to walk you through how to utilize it, how to set it up, how to leverage deep human connection within this system. Because at the end of the day, we want to give you the things that we know work. We want to give you the things that we know are going to make business a little bit easier. And also the things that generate a ton of revenue. Like, let's just be realistic. Since I switched over to Go High Level, I mean, my revenue has rocketed, and we're going to continue to leverage this tool. And as we continue new things, we're going to have case studies to show you and add on to the case studies we already have. So I'm excited about Impact Effect Community for so many reasons, but this Go High Level feature, this product that you're now going to be able to utilize and leverage and develop into your own, is a game changer. And I say that because I've used it and have watched it bring more revenue to my business, as well as give me back more time, and have all my systems in one place for economies of scale from a monetary value, but also from an ease of use. And if you're building teams, you don't have to add people and it costs money. Like, it's just one account that you're going to allow your team to come into. So from a perspective of saving money, saving time, being efficient, and using some of the top tech and knowledge, especially having support in the community, I'm just excited to offer it to you. And I'm excited to do it at a level where I know if you put in some of the work and you build the systems up front, and you allow us to help you and pour into you, whether it's in our momentum hour, our office hours, our co-creation opportunities, or it's a private training for a small intimate group who needs to go deeper, we're going to be there for you, and we're going to show up, and we're going to pour into you, because we know how important systems are. At the end of the day, Impact Effect Community is a system, right? It's a system. It's enhancing your productivity. It's providing knowledge that's organized and concise and broken up into different levels, so that way you can leverage that information in the fastest amount of time. So how can we not give you a system that we know works, we know is vetted, is used by some of the top talent in the world, running the biggest and largest and most profitable businesses? We want to give you that system too, as we welcome you into our system, into our community and ecosystem of belonging, of education, of collaboration, of opportunity, and just a safe place to communicate on a deep level and open up when you feel you're lonely through the process, when you feel like giving up or quitting. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, if you haven't gone through that self-talk that's a little bit negative, I don't believe you. And I don't believe you because I've had the conversations with the highest performers. You heard Brian just talk about it with some of the folks in the circles that he's in. I mean, Brian's talking about sharing stages with Ed Mylett. And when I say sharing stages, I'm not talking about just spoke after him. I'm talking about hanging out with them in the green room, having deep conversation and sharing some of that knowledge with me, right? Because Brian's a giver. Brian's an amplifier. And at the end of the day, I'm just so excited. I'm excited to partner with producer Rachel. I'm excited to get everything in to an app that's extremely easy to use. And I'm even more excited for our next guest. I've heard so much.
I am too.
So much about her.
Right.
And I was looking her up, and I was creeping on her today.
Oh, yeah.
We were in lives earlier, and we had that little break, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, oh, man, I'm impressed. And I checked out our website, so I'm all jazzed. I'm all jazzed up to have a conversation with our next speaker.
All right, let's do this. I'm going to put the fancy graphic up. Here we go, everybody. Oh my gosh. And some music. Ready? What if peak performance isn't about grinding harder, but about igniting a system that fuels your energy, focus, and joy simultaneously? Please welcome holistic leadership pioneer, Stefana Johnson.
Woo! I'd love to be here. I'm so happy for you both. Congratulations. And I'm happy for everyone who is going to be part of this. Go high level. Wow. That's generous.
Right?
Awesome. What a gift. Yeah,
I
what a
know.
gift.
So, Stefana, gosh, okay, let's breathe. Let me breathe it out. Because, I'm so excited to have you on. Stefana and I met actually at the same time I met Brian Gelke. When I was in Dallas with a client, basically. And Stefana wasn't scared to essentially admit things she didn't know, right? Things she needed help with. This is a woman who has clients that are like billionaire CEOs. Do you know what I'm saying? But still is not scared to take the mask off and say, like, I have no idea what you're referring to. I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? And now everything has flipped to where I'm going to her and I literally am like, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? Yesterday, like, full disclosure, I called her bawling my eyes out because we talked about this earlier, Jim. I'm a fight or flight person in the past. I'm working on being able to feel my emotions. And Stefana is all about feeling your emotions, right? Your emotions are trying to tell you something. And I think for me, for so long, I just push it down. I push it down, right? Like, no, we got to get this done. We got to get this done. Stefana, do you want to talk? I'm fine talking about like what we talked about yesterday. I'm fine admitting I bawled my eyes out because I was holding it in for so long. And I also think useful, that, like, yeah, I think it's useful. Okay, you decide.
I think that, I was listening to your previous interview and I love this conversation. I think it's so important for all of us to understand the stress response for ourselves. Everyone has a different stress response. And the thing that we need to understand is that our response to anything, whether it's a circumstance or a situation, is something that we can build as a skill. So we can get better at our responses, right? We can recognize that perhaps that response was not effective. So I might try something different, or let me see what I can do to hone a better skill around how I deal with a stressful situation, a launch, a client who's unhappy, going on stage and going to pee my pants because I'm so scared or whatever, right? These are just the steps in life that we forget that we actually have to go through because we have a curated false sense of what the world is. And anyone with a five-month-old, oh my goodness, there's no faking it there. You cannot fake it. Right? And what a gift to be in the presence of a life force that is just experiencing in the present moment everything and not shutting themselves down. And hopefully mommy and daddy are not doing anything to shut down what their natural response is. And you get to discover and learn for yourself as you observe this incredible life that nature is evolving with it. It's just so exciting. So I'll go back to this, Rachel. It's a skill. And since I met you on day one, you've always shared with me your skills, and all I'm doing is sharing my skills. I have not always been able to handle my stress. Mine was definitely different in terms of how I would handle a stressful situation, whether it be a launch or whether it be going on an audition for a very, very important role that I wanted. One of the things that I learned really early on, and I wish I had practiced it more, is that when we take everything so seriously and make it mean something, that's when it stops being the truth. Because truth is, and I think it was the gentleman that said it before, maybe it was you, Jim, you said presence. You have to be present. That's the only truth there is. That's like a whoa moment, not woo woo, but true.
I love that.
Here. And the only truth is right here, right now. The rest is what we make it mean or assign it as a meaning. Because this, I'm doing this because of this. No, that's all made up. That's all the made up accoutrements. And in terms of television, that's what makes television or media. And we've gotten so used to living in a televised existence that's all fake, folks. All of it.
Well, I want you to talk about community because you belong to communities, you lead communities, and the importance of leaning on communities and other people to sort of help us. I think for so long, I tried to go through this life without other people. Like, I got this. I could do this. I could do this. That got me nowhere. It really got me nowhere. And it wasn't until like, oh, wait, we need people. We need people to pull us out, just like I called you yesterday. Talk to me about the importance of community.
It's more about levels of community, right? There's the surface community. We have our social community. We have our this, but when you get into a community like this, that is intentional, a very intentional, purposeful community, like what you have created with Impact Effect, that's when you start to see the miracles. And miracles should be happening every single day of your life. They're going to happen when you come back to the truth and when you come back to being present and connecting truthfully, authentically with yourself and having others in that community that is intentional and purposeful that mirrors that, right? So it looks like, first of all, being willing to go down, I don't want to say down that dark alley, but there's shadow work has become really popular and like a fad thing to do now. Look, shadow work, that's the stuff we used to do when we lived life. It was built in if you had a sense of yourself, because you realize there's a cycle to everything, just like nature. We're coming out of, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're coming out of winter. What is winter? It's another cycle. We all have winters in our lives. And guess what? There are cycles in the day that's like the winter, where it needs to be dormant and you need to nourish deeply. And then there's a time when that seed or the seeds you've planted are going to need to be cultivated, but not messed with, so that they can take root. And in order to do that, you want to have a community that nourishes you, that does not go and dig you up and dig up things that are useless, but instead gives you the nourishment, gives you the fuel, gives you the water, the sunshine, doesn't let darkness block out the sun so that you can get the warmth that you need to be nourished at a depth that only an intentional, positive, purposeful community like Impact Effect can do. Yeah.
Well, and I love that we are a safe space. And the reason why, like, Jim ignited me to partner with him and do this is because he was honest with me. He was honest about his past. He was honest about his parents' addiction. He was honest about losing $1 million business, right? He was honest with me about turning to alcohol. He was honest with me about his life. He didn't try to promise me anything. He literally just said, this is who I am. This is the community I want to build. And it may not be perfect. We're going to take messy action. And so I was like, okay, great. Like, he wasn't BSing me. And I think there's something so important about that you have two leaders, both of us, because I don't BS anybody either. I probably am too honest. Sometimes I have to learn to be like softer. Just for people that don't know, Stefana and I have like a live streaming podcast where it's called It's Only Because I Love You. And that's when she'll hit you with like the hard and honest truth that like sometimes hurts my feelings. But I know it's coming from a place of love, right? Only because I love you. But that's what we're creating. We're creating a safe space where you can be honest about the shitty parts of building a business. I didn't realize how hard this was going to be. I didn't realize there were going to be some days that I was going to have to go into my savings account to pay payroll. I didn't realize there were going to be days, probably multiple days, I was going to quit. I wanted to quit everything. But I kept showing up for myself. And that's what success was to me. I kept showing up. And that's what I'm hoping people do when they join this community is show up, stay involved, stay. Talk to me about being honest with other people, because I feel like there's sometimes people I try to be honest with when it's about the dream and it just doesn't align. And a lot of times their energy will sort of like push me out of that. And Jim knows this too. Jim, you know, when you tell somebody something like, this is what I'm thinking, and they're like, okay, whatever, dude. So yes, we can be honest, but I think there's some people that we sort of need to like not tell the dream to. Am I right there? Am I wrong there?
Well, yes, of course you're right. You just said it. And I think that that's the key, is that you know the truth and you first have to be honest with you. And if you can be honest with you and be an adult, then you'll just say, yeah, no, I'm not going to have a conversation with this person. They're not aligned. That's an adult showing up to their life. And we've talked about this before, Rachel, we have to grow up. And I think as business owners, it's scary because we want someone else. Can someone else take care of that paycheck? I would love somebody else. Like, we want mommy or daddy, okay, to take care of that paycheck. Well, guess what, sweetheart? Nobody's coming to do payroll. It's you, right? When you own your own business. But we know as entrepreneurs that we have a vision. And we are here to innovate and create a positive impact. And whatever that looks like for each of us as entrepreneurs and business owners, we have to honor that part of ourselves, nourish that part of ourselves, let the sun shine where it shines, and be in a community that supports that knowingly. Because if you surround yourself by a bunch of folks that are going to block out the sun, pour sand in your, you know, all of this, and eliminate the fuel, or dig you up every single time something gets rooted beautifully and that needs time, businesses are not going to happen like that. Thank goodness for Go High Level, because it's going to happen a lot faster. But you have to have that sense of self, and it goes back to being an adult. A lot of us don't want to be adults. We want to be children. We want to have mommy, daddy, government, this, that, take care of us. That's not for an entrepreneur who's ready to step up. Sorry. And that's hard. But I'm saying this because I love you and because I've had to say it to myself about 50 million times. Okay. I will tell you, I'm the first one. This is what I say to a lot of my clients. You're pointing the finger. How many are pointing back? And I say this to myself every day, especially, you'll know this, Jim, when your little one starts getting a little older, you're like, no. Like, oh boy, there's 3 fingers. What do I need to, what do I need to shift? What do I need to look at? What do I need to? You're like, oh, this is interesting. And that's what it is. It's a radical personal responsibility. It is radical honesty for yourself. This is how true transformation happens. This is how, you know, entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders are a very unique and special beast, because we're putting ourselves out there. And in this world, there's enormous destructive criticism. And that can do more harm for your confidence, for your clarity, for your own sense of well-being. And I think that that is the one big pitfall for most business owners who go it alone. So having a community where you are aligned, you've got the support, you've got the depth of richness of the two of you is phenomenal. What a gift. I say
Thank
that
you
from
for
my heart.
saying
I'm just
that.
so
Thank
happy
you.
for what you're doing. Yeah. So
Jim, do you have any questions for her? Like, she is empathic. She can go, I mean, she can go as deep as you want
I
to.
do. I
Like,
do.
she talk about woo-woo.
So,
Like, she gets
um,
deep. So
well, first and foremost, I think I found a new friend. So I'm excited about that. You hit me really hard when you were talking about the biggest transformation opportunity, and you were talking about the fingers, right? When you point, how many are looking back at you? And that's how my transformation started when we were having our first daughter, Ellie, who's 2.5. I was at a conference, and this is why I'm so passionate and where this community started. This community started with events, and now we're moving into phase 2 with, bringing producer Rachel in, my coaching business in, consulting, the marketing side, and just pouring it all out for our community on everything we've learned over the years. But the reason why I was so passionate about events and in real life events is because my life changed. And my life changed when I heard someone from stage tell me that the only way to broker a better relationship with the people you care about is to have a better relationship with yourself. And what I did in that moment, after that person said that, I blocked out everything and I pulled out my phone, and I can show you this. And I don't even know if I've shared this with you, producer Rachel, but I wrote down a note and I still have it. And it says, Ellie will be like ... And I wrote down about 60 or 70 statements. Ellie will be a good and healthy stewardess when it comes to food choices. Ellie will be someone who has integrity. Ellie will make mistakes, but learn from them. Ellie will not lie unless it's in a sticky, like I just went into all these situations. And I started to cry. And I started to just sit there. I'm the big bald guy that's sitting next to you, just pouring it out, right? And I think the speaker at this time was like cracking jokes, so it wasn't even relevant to the context of the scenario. And in that moment, when I looked at that list, I realized I was not about 60% of the things on those lists. And in that moment, I realized that I will never be able to point the finger and lead her and tell her what to do in life if I don't start to make those positive changes in that transformation. So when you're talking about pointing the finger and 3 pointing back at you, it just hit me so hard, because that literally it's a perfect example of what started my transformation and has allowed me to live in purpose, has allowed me to show up in a way where I can impact people, where we get those text messages that are on the Impact Effect community website that talks about the experiences and the changes and the difference in, the trajectory of their life and their future based on what we've been doing and what we've been building over the years with Impact Effect. So it just hit home for me, and I just felt called to kind of share that story, because I don't even know if I've shared that with you, Rachel.
you never did.
It. So beautiful. And it takes so much courage. Courage comes from heart to do that. So I honor you. And I honor your daughter for having a wonderful father and coming into his life to help create that moment for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't have any other questions besides when can we get Stefana back in the community?
I know.
I know.
She can cover so many topics. It's crazy. I honestly can't wait. And she, as harsh as it feels in the moment when she's being honest with me, I need to hear it. Does that make sense? She doesn't tell me anything that I don't need to hear. And so I think that's when it hurts the most, is when it's like, because I know she's telling me the truth. I know it's something that I'm avoiding myself. And that's why we need other people to pull us out of the bullshit, pull us out of that, oh, woe is me feeling. I think one of the last things I want to talk to you about is comparison is the thief of joy. I think that when we have business owners and we have these billionaires and millionaires and people, we're making all this money and you can make it too. And not every path is the same. Our journey is our own journey. And I think I really, truly had to stop comparing myself to where other people were. That's why I appreciate everybody. Like, be a creator, don't be a consumer of any of this stuff. Because I think we get stuck in this trap of feeling like, oh, I should be as far as this person is, right? I've been doing this for so much longer. I should be further along. But that's not always, like, someone else's journey is not our journey. Can you talk about that? And then how I can like sort of bring people into the community to understand we're not going to be comparing with each other. We're going to be on this journey together, which whatever level you're at.
Right. Well, comparison apparently is a human condition. I don't think it's super useful. However, most comparisons in your own head. And what do I mean by that? You touched on it a bit in that, well, you know, wherever they are, I'm comparing to where, you know, this is their front yard, and I'm going to compare my backyard to their front yard or my garage to their pristine front yard. Again, it's all in our own heads. And one of the things that I learned when I was in New York City, this is in the 80s, and I was working for a personal trainer who worked for Stars, and she brought me in under her wings, and I got to be a trainer under her to other stars. I didn't know who they were. It was not until later. And these folks were, you know, they had all the money in the world, that you'd think they were the perfect this, that. And wow, was that eye-opening. Because there would be days that I would sit on a kitchen floor crying with some of them. And this comparison idea is something, like I was talking earlier with skills, you need to develop a new skill around comparison and decide to reject any of those thoughts that come into your mind. Because a great book, and since you have a daughter, at some point you'll read this. Well, actually you did too, Rachel. Walk a Mile in My Shoes. There's a couple really beautiful children's books that transformed me. I read them to my boys when later in my life, and started to put these together, because stories are such beautiful ways to share ideas and share understanding of this concept of comparison. Whenever I am in a community that is built around that the leader has got it all together and right? I feel literally physically ill. And then what fills me is almost toxic energy. And at first I thought it was me. What's wrong with me? Then it took me a while, and I had to trust myself, even though I had paid a year membership to this group. And everybody else seemed to be getting all the results, and oh my gosh, and wow. Until you look under the hood, or you take a magnifying glass and look a little closer, or you turn on the flashlight and the roaches scatter, you have no clue. So we have to. You know, you say a lot, give yourself grace. I say, no, you need to blow that up. Like literally comparison, destroy, delete, uncreate that BS, because it is not useful. Not useful. Go to being courageous, go to being connected, go to being communicative, willingly, from a place of authentic connection with yourself. And if you are in comparison, then just shut up and walk away. Get out of that energy, because that breeds poison, and it will do harm to you and your business. Okay, I think I'm done with my rant on
I love
that.
you. I love her rants. Her rants are amazing. Like her rants just like suck you in, and I'm always like, whatever you say, this is amazing. I love it. All right, I'm going to throw up a little graphic. Tell people the best way to get a hold of you. Are you doing one-on-one sessions? Like, what are you? So I know you're like scheduled.
I am
packed,
booking for 2025 and 2026 for keynotes and strategic work sessions. That's all I'm focused on right now. So coming in and speaking to your audience, coming in to revitalize, energize, that's really my focus right now. And I'm booking out through 2026 right now.
Oh, beautiful. Good for
Yeah.
you. Oh my God, I love that. I'm booking out through June. No, I love that. I love you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you for showing up for me all the time and for taking that
Always.
call yesterday. I needed it. I needed to feel my feelings, and it literally made me feel so much better afterwards. So thank you.
You are not your feelings. You have them.
I have feelings. I
You
am
have
not my
feelings.
feelings.
You are not the feelings. But they are great messengers sometimes if you can observe them and let them come up and then let them go.
Mhm.
As you know, letting them come up and go, wow. But when we're stuck up against them, right? That's why I tell as an airplane pilot, you have to observe. And if you don't, and you get stuck in the fear or the terror, you're going to crash the plane, sweetheart. Right? So you've got to step outside of it and observe and feel everything, because you need those subtle nuances to understand where you have to shift and navigate. Maybe it's to level up. Maybe it's to shift over a little bit because there's something massive coming your way, a torpedo, and you need to dodge, whatever, right? I'm giving that as another analogy. I'm so good with different.
I get it. I get it.
All right.
I love you so much. Thank you so much.
Big hug to you and your beautiful family. Oh,
It was such a pleasure to meet you, and I'm so
wonderful.
excited to get acquainted. And to reiterate, Rachel, thank you for your time. Thank you for pouring into us, and thank you for just sharing your knowledge and your expertise and your amazing analogies.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Stefana. Okay.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Absolute fire. Like I'm ready to run through walls, and I'm ready to reframe and utilize mindset hacks. Like, let's go. Come on.
Well, I think a lot of times we often don't understand like our role in what's happening, right? I think I lived in like blame for a long time. Like, you did this to me and you're why I'm reacting this way. And like, once you can like really sort of just observe, okay, why am I feeling that way, and understand like I'm in control of how I react. I choose that. Right. I would always be like, you lit the fire and you're watching it burn. Why are you mad at me for yelling? But no, I don't have to yell.
You had the fire extinguisher in your hand the whole time.
The whole time. And so
literally
she's been like so instrumental at letting me see that. Like, oh no, just observe it. Why are you getting like involved in it? So, all right, our next guest. Hold on. Here we go. Let's do the graphic.
So
Let's
excited.
get the background music. Are we ready? Oh my God. All right. Our next guest turned his body's cry for help into a roadmap for radical healing. Please welcome Trauma to Triumph guide, Nate Langley. Let's get you on stage.
Hi.
Hi, Nate.
I got music. That was awesome.
You did. I'm not as great as I was on the radio because it what are we on StreamYard doesn't have like a mixer, but I'm going to get better. We're going to figure it out for next time. So Jim meet Nate, Nate meet Jim. Say hi.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you for just spending some time this evening with us and talking about life and business and all the fun things. We appreciate you, and I'm excited to get to know you deeper and connect after this. And it's just been such a pleasure to work with producer Rachel and to meet some of her circle and some of her folks in her life that have influenced her so deeply. So thank you, man. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, I definitely think Rachel slotted me into the right part of the day after listening to Stefana. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, know what we're doing here.
I was like, we're gonna have Stefana followed by Nate, and you can't get any crazier than that. And maybe we'll do a mini breathwork session. I don't know, like a little mini breathing session, because I need to breathe. You can hear, like, I can feel it right here. I'm just like, everything's here. So backstory really quickly. Nate was my intern when I worked in radio. And then we just connected. Like, when you meet somebody and you're just like, I want to be in this person's life forever. That was Nate for me. There's something magical about just his energy, his smile. And so to watch his life progress and to see how far he's come has been amazing. I call my interns my babies. Like, they're my babies. And some I've stayed in touch with, like Nate. And so Nate's backstory, when he was living here in Michigan, Nate, explain what happened with your body, sort of the shorter version, and how you've now turned that into helping other people.
Yeah, I think the elevator version of that is that I was living with some environmental toxins. So there was actually mold in the condo I was living in. So that was sort of something that was an external factor that created a lot of havoc inside of my nervous system and my immune system. What I've learned since then is that a lot of times these environmental toxins can almost act as flashlights or guides for us to look internal. And as we sort of set out to try to solve whatever problems those are causing sort of physiologically, you start peeling layers back and you go, wait a minute, maybe this was just a way to get me to look deeper at everything. Like, what areas, okay, so here's the areas of my life that are out of alignment from like a health standpoint. What areas am I out of alignment spiritually or from my soul level, right? And I just kept receiving all these intuitive hits as I was trying to heal myself from the mold toxicity, that there's a lot more to it, my friend. So I had to just kind of go all in and decide, okay, well, let's just look at sort of the body as this vessel that needs flow. Where is the flow blocked? Where are there areas of you that are just that you're holding on too tight to? Where are areas that have become stagnant, maybe toxicity that got in there and you never moved it out? And I just became like a student of my own body, and it led to a lot of realizations around what my purpose truly is. So that the mold truly like catapulted me in the direction I've gone. And so I lived in Michigan then. Along that healing journey, I ended up moving to Sedona, Arizona, where I am now. Completely changed what I do for my purpose and for the way that I actually make income for myself. So it's been a wild last 5 years for me.
Well, and then talk to us about going from healing your body solo to now healing communities. I mean, you now heal groups of people. And we are building out a community. Our goal is to help people not just change their businesses, but really start with mindset. Talk to me about the importance of community and the importance of other people on our journey.
I actually want to take this I wasn't sure how you'd ask me this question about community, but I was thinking about it as Stefano was talking. I want to take this down to like a values level when we go to community. And this is an exercise that I'm sure both of you have done at some point. Maybe even someone earlier today talked about values, but I've got 3 values that I wrote down back in 2021 that I kind of revisit all the time and I make little edits to. And one of my values is actually around relationships. So before I get to the relationships, I actually want to just provide a perspective on values, because I think we can think of like organizational development and what does values mean in that context? What do values mean for people? And I love to sort of boil things down with meaning and try to figure out, well, what if there was like a way to like catch it all? So this is my best shot at that. And that is just, okay, what do you spend your resources on? What do I spend my time on? What do I spend my money on? What do I spend my attention on? And I think maybe even the most important, what do I spend my intention on? Because that's all the stuff that's going to happen, right? So in thinking about that in the context of relationships, one of my values, I'm going to read this little poetic thing to you guys. I get a little deep sometimes, but I'm sure you can humor me here.
Let's go deep, baby. Come
Okay,
on.
good.
Let's do it.
So it says, it's indescribable when the light inside of us sees itself inside another. We are reciprocal and supportive. Without each other, we lose important reference points for what the experience actually means. So when it comes to having community around you, you're on a healing journey, you're on a growth journey, I think one of the most undervalued things that you never hear about in the bullet points of the value that something can provide is, oh, there's just a space to actually be witnessed. That, I actually have chills from saying that, because I've witnessed so many things happen when just that thing exists for a singular person or a group of people. I started out as a one-on-one coach, and I had some really great experiences doing that, but I kept getting this intuitive hit. Like, I just feel like there's something more to bringing people together. We're all so similar at these foundational levels of sort of what we're striving for and the things that we're feeling and we want to feel. And when I started doing retreats, it became so obvious. You know, those things that happen in your life when it finally something just like clicks in, you're like, boom, that's it. For me, that was the retreat experience. So breathwork retreats or nature stuff. We do all kinds of stuff out here in Sedona with these. And the hardest thing about my job now is just getting people to say yes to showing up. After they do, literally, we get they arrive, we create intentionality around what the space is going to be like. And there might be like little prompts here or there, but it's mostly just them witnessing each other, telling each other their stories, asking questions, providing experience. And you can see this, all of this is energy, right? So you can see as these energies start to twirl together, how much more everyone's being built up by being together in this one space. So I just think it's the most valuable thing you can invest in, for all the reasons that we don't think are going to matter. We think it's like, I want to launch that podcast and write that book. It's like, okay, what you really want to do is reach the greatest potential that you have inside of yourself, and you're using the book as a way to create that expression. I don't know if
can you do like the sound off pew 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 after that statement, Rachel? Because that was like, let's go. Come on, man.
Oh, she has that.
Did have it. Producer Rachel did have it.
Of course I have it. It's just down so far, this darn thing. I'll make it work next time. What I love about that is getting people to show up, right, is half the battle. Jim knows this because he's created events before. I know this because I created events too. And even when I worked on the radio station, you have some people that just are scared to show up. And we're in a space where we're just like, just show up for yourself. And then when you get in that space, you'll see all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only person that feels this way. And I think that's the hardest thing, because a lot of people don't want to be honest on social media. They don't want to be real about what's going on. And so there's this like truthiness, right? We like sort of see how people are being truthy. But when you can be in that space, that safe space where you can say, you know what? Sometimes life sucks. Sometimes this is hard. Nate, I know you launched something that you thought was going to be amazing, like because you had just done it. You launched it again, and then you had to cancel it because it just didn't attract the people that you thought that it would.
Mm-hmm.
And that's entrepreneurship, right? And Jim has gone through this before too. Like Jim's had events with like, thousands of people, and then the next event he's losing money on. It's crazy. So I want you to talk about those tough times. Go ahead.
Like, not to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
I didn't want to lose this thought. So it's a selfish statement, but to that point, you can run the same exact strategy simultaneously to the same group of people and have drastically different results. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's actually a good thing, because what that tells me, and this is how I reframe, creating an idea, getting jazzed up about it, putting all the things into effect, and it doesn't work, or no one's attracted to it. But when I do that, and I realize that individualization is at its highest, I actually get excited about that, because I don't want copycats in my life. I don't personally want to go copy others. I like to provide creative disruption, I call it, right? Doing new things, taking what I know, taking what you know, and morphing it into a creation of what I think's best based on my experiences, based on my highs, based on my lows, based on my conversations, based on reading the comments on socials, because I'm like crazy like Gary Vee, and I spend hours just absorbing what people think and how they process. But at the end of the day, you can have everything identical and have a different outcome. And it comes back to that individualization around the fact that we can all coexist, and it may work today, it may not work tomorrow. But the beauty is hopefully, and I pray that you wake up tomorrow and can attempt it again.
Absolutely. Well, what you're speaking to there too is actually another thing that I was thinking is very powerful about showing up in community, is that before you even achieve anything that's a sort of on your to-do list of what the community's there for mechanistically, you've actually overcome a fear of being seen. Boom. Personal development. Ching. Didn't even like go into the first meeting yet. So already we start with a pride in ourselves, like, hey man, this was important to me and I showed up. And that's a cool thing, that once you actually make it through the doors and you're sitting alongside all those other people, you actually know what they had to go through to be sitting in a seat next to you. And there's a mutual respect there. I actually have my cousin, who I've actually spent a bunch of my life with. He actually moved out here to Sedona with us. He's a therapist. And he said some of the most transformative things happen. They have these family circles where they'll have a whole bunch of families come together in one big giant room, almost like a huge conference room, right? And everybody one by one goes in, and the family unit goes into the center of the circle while all the other families are watching. And they actually do an integration there, and they speak about, hey, when this happened, this is kind of the way that it made me feel about this certain thing. And like, they have to get super vulnerable in front of everybody, but everybody has opted in. So how much do you think everybody's getting out of those stories that they're hearing? Oh shit, me too. Dang, that happened to us as well. Whoa, never thought of it like that. And that's when you're sitting on the outside of the circle.
You haven't even got in yet. Yeah.
Didn't even get to the middle yet. So it's just, there's so much value in sharing these experiences. It's awesome.
Well, and I think that's all Jim and I are asking people to do. It's just like, just opt in. Just opt in. Like, say yes to yourself. Say yes to something bigger than yourself, but also allow yourself to feel and to be honest and to rely on other people and to trust other people. I think for so long I didn't trust other people. And until I could just be open and honest and like start that conversation, it wasn't until then that like the energy started to shift and my life could change. Jim, earlier I mentioned we were talking about when we were with Nicole Kramer, who teaches people how to sell, right? Nate was the one I told the story where I was told, and it was by Nate, to come up with the biggest, craziest offer I could come up with, the most expensive thing I've ever tried to sell, and just get it out there, pitch it, and just get the no. Be okay with the no. I think for so long I was afraid of the no, I wouldn't even try to get to the yes. And Nate really sort of helped me overcome that. It's like, just like Nicole said, okay, great, get as many no's as you can. So when you're joining a community, I feel like number one, we can help you with whatever it is that you need, whether it's sales, whether it's pitching, whether it's just mindset shift. I want people to opt in and trust that we have their best interest at heart. I mean, both of you are so honest about the things that have worked and the things that haven't worked. I love, Nate, that you just posted, like, hey, this didn't work out. And that's okay. You didn't have to post that. You could have just stopped posting about the event that you were throwing. But instead you chose to be honest and be like, hey, this didn't work out. Jim, the same thing with you. You've talked about losing money on events. So I want people to understand, like, opt in to the community. You're going to be in a space where like we've been through it. We've seen it. And it's okay. Like, we're still here, right? Like, we're still alive. We're still kicking. Since Nate is a breathwork practitioner and it's like, we're coming down, it's the end of the night. Are you comfortable doing a little mini breathwork session with us?
Well, what we could try is a little extended release vocalization.
Oh no,
Nate!
I don't know what that is. What's that?
Well, let's see if the audio will allow it. So all this. So just so you guys, I think Rachel knows a little bit about this. Jim, just so you know, the actual ceremonies that I facilitate in, they're actually quite intense. And there would be no way for me to put you guys through what that is. Those are designed to like help move really stuck emotions, and They're quite active,
No.
and there's loud
Yeah, I
music
don't
all
want to
the time.
cry right now. I cannot cry
So
right now.
there's another thing we can do with the vibration inside of us to stimulate the vagus nerve to get us to help kind of soften down into our bodies. We just have to use our voice a little, and it's just an extended exhalation. So it's almost as if we were to taking, I'm going to do it in a second, but we're taking a deep breath. And then as we exhale, we just let ourselves hum it all the way out and then just go a little bit longer at the end than you normally would. And I actually, sometimes when I have calls, when people are having anxious moments, I'll say, we're going to take a minute. We're just going to do 3 reps of this. By the 3rd rep, the person's like, oh, it's very interesting how we can influence our physiology with some of these very simple inputs. So, you guys can follow with me if you want. So we're just going to do a quick deep breath in. And then as we let go, just one more deep in. And let it go. Last one. Here we go. Ready? Big, big, deep breath in. And let it go.
Woo!
It's simple.
It's so simple, but it moves so much energy. And we've talked about this before where I find myself, and I don't know, like Jim, I don't know if you catch yourself doing this, where you're not breathing, where you're taking these like short breaths throughout your day because like everything is like rushing and you have all the feelings and you don't have time to feel the feelings, right? And honestly, just sitting back, that took all of 30 seconds to just breathe and then do the vibration out. It really does change the energy. So if people are on the fence about anything, if they're anxious about anything, like that is such a simple thing to do.
One little thing I want to add to that.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the reason I incorporate voice into that, you can also easily just do an extended exhalation. That's fine. The reason I incorporate voice is one of the areas that I find the people that I work with are the most blocked is in their throat chakra, is in the way that they share themselves, is in the way that they express, it's in the way that they move ideas through them. So that's just one little way. I don't even tell them this, but that's just one little way I help them to understand how to resonate with themselves. So just feeling that, like when you guys are not with me and you're like, just maybe not driving in the car, but you're alone or just chilling at your house, really let yourself feel the deepest level, like push it out and the deepest part of you. That's going to start clicking things in that you don't even know over time. And it'll get easier and easier for us to be at ease, sharing how we feel, be more at ease, moving into conflict, be more at ease, saying to someone, hey, I really think this thing I'm doing would be great for you. What do you think? Would you like to come in?
And Jim, did you ever go through that period of time? Because I talked about this earlier and Nate knows this. Like my throat chakra was blocked. Like I was told nobody likes your voice. Nobody wants to hear you. Like just stop talking. That blocked me for a very long time. It took me a very long time. And Nate and I are still working on that. Did you ever go through that period of time before you became a public speaker, before you started speaking in the community, where you were like, I just can't even get it out because like, who cares? Right? Like, is what I'm saying important? Is what I'm saying going to connect with people? Did you ever go through that period of time? Because I did it. Like when I decided to go from behind the scenes to in front of the camera, for 2 years, I would keep trying to record myself and I would literally just look at myself on the camera and be like, I can't even speak it. I can't even speak in it. And it was till I could start speaking it instead of like, I want to, like, it is. Like there was a huge shift. I want you to talk about like your journey a little bit and let Nate touch upon it too.
So again, here's something that we probably haven't shared in our, short relationship so far. But when I grew up, I hit puberty a little bit later than some of the other guys. So I had a very high pitched squeaky voice, and I hung out with the older boys. I hung out with the older kids. One of those kids was a good friend of mine. He just came and visited. That's who we were doing cold plunges in the waterfalls in Tennessee with. But growing up in that age and that time, I got made fun of because of it, right? So for me, I didn't want to speak. I didn't think I would. I had a lot to say, and when I was comfortable, it would all come out, right? So if it's a couple of close friends, I'm chirping and we're talking trash and we're hanging out, we're living and we're doing the things, like I'm good, right? And I enjoyed running my mouth. I enjoyed pushing the buttons with some of the kids back in the day, especially the older cats. But that transitioned into me being very self-conscious around speaking, to the point where if you called on me in college, so now we move from, 8, 9, 10 to, 18, 19, my hands sweat so much that they would drip sweat, because I was so nervous and didn't want to get made fun of. And now you look at me 6'5", 225, balding, like you wouldn't think, oh, this dude had a high pitch voice and literally got made fun of by everybody. Like I remember being like, I wish I had more hair on my legs and I had a deeper voice, right? Like that's the truth,
Yeah, I share that
But
experience with you, Jim, by the way.
you fast forward to, the corporate world, right? So at a director level, when I was in corporate, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was only comfortable speaking in front of the managers that worked for me. So I could bring in 20 people that I was paying 60, 70, 80, 90 grand a year because they were paid to listen to me. So in those moments, I was comfortable speaking because you had to be there. You had to show up. So now fast forward to 2020, when I build out the event company because I'm losing my business, and I realized, wow, all these entrepreneurs I just met and have known in Nashville, like we're all screwed. We're losing everything. Like this is how Impact Effect started, right? Like got together 8 people in a burger joint, then turned around to everybody and said, hey guys, I'm fucked. Like I'm going to lose everything. I just walked away from corporate. Like I was just doing a vision board about me being on the Forbes magazine for this business. We were crushing it. Like first year was nuts. We got 56 contracts ready to go. Like, woo. And in those moments, what I realized was, as we started to continue to throw events and I end up selling that business and losing it, what I realized is I still wasn't over it in 2020, because what I was doing at my events was, because I was the host, I was forced to get up and address the room. Well, I would buy everybody a glass of champagne that came to this free networking event, and I would do a toast so people were focused on the champagne, not focused on Jim Morris. So when you talk about this blockage occurred from age 9 to 29, 30, 32, 31. I'm 35 now. When I was 31, 32, so just 3 years ago. 3 years ago was when I got on stage in front of 100 people that I knew at my own event, and I told people things about my life, about my parents, about the mask that I was wearing, things so deep on that stage that my girlfriend, my wife now, she didn't even know some of this stuff because I haven't even shared it with her. So to say that my throat chakra was closed and there was blockage for 25 years. And I think for me, I had to move through a period of time where I had to change everything and make changes around every single aspect of my life. And that's what allowed me, I think, to open up. And now, my confidence breeds from preparation and reps and consistency and embarrassing the shit out of myself. Like I've fumbled words at an event that literally made me look so fucking stupid, but like to the point where I couldn't even watch the camera view of it after. and like in front of 350 people. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this. But yet I remember getting back up the next day, flying to Houston, Texas, and doing the same keynote and crushing it.
Amen.
So like when I think back of all these situations and scenarios, I think we're always on a path to learn and grow. And if we can bring amazing human beings like Nate into the Impact Effect community and to plug in and to spend time with our folks and our members, then hopefully we can unlock some of those things for the Impact Effect members and build those true deep relationships that Nate started off our conversation discussing and navigating. Like I feel the alignment here, and I knew I would with all the guests that you brought in, Rachel, because I know that we're aligned, right? Like with Stefana, when we were talking earlier, you were saying Jim just was telling the truth. One of the biggest reasons why I was so excited to partner with you on this project and take it to the next level, and I said this to Caitlin recently. Actually, it was yesterday. I was like, I love how honest and direct Rachel is, right? Because guess what? I love that shit. Like, I want you to be like, and you do this to me all the time. Like you get, and Caitlin does, my wife does this to me, right? Like I need the yin to my yang to because I know one of my strengths is ideation, right? Execution is not, strategy is. So like, I know for a fact that one of my core strengths is not around that subject matter. And I'm going to need someone to pull me back into the course because I have a million ideas, right? Like we were just talking today and I was like, oh, well, I'll just do another live after that. And you're like, Jim, you can't shoot a podcast during the break and then add other lives and then show up and do this. Do you know, Jim, that you'd be streaming and talking for literally like 20 hours today? And it's like, oh, thank you, Rachel. I won't schedule that.
Nate, tell him why you're laughing when he says Rachel will be honest with you.
Oh my gosh. So one of the reasons she made such a groove in my heart and mind is from day one when I was an intern for her. I literally started. So like you get up really early. The show that we were on was that you got to be up at like 2:30 a.m. So I freaking drive over to the studio. You show up at 4 or whatever. As I'm walking up the steps to like open the door that leads to the studio, I can already hear her. And she's just boom, 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 boom. Hey, go. Like she's like, it's like a football coach. You know what I mean? So what I loved about her is like, she's got that freaking football coach energy, but underneath it is a heart that really gives a shit. And that came through to me very clearly. And as she looked upon all of us who worked for her and under her, you could tell she would look at what's special about each individual that was there. And she'd go, I'm going to help you with that. But if you want to get better with that, you need to focus on these things. And I'm going to be on your ass if you don't. And I loved it. It really was, it was one of the first times in my life when I understood how tough love can be done right. I had a lot of those examples early in my life where I think tough love was done wrong. And she was one of the first examples I had where it was like, aha, I felt the resonance coming through on what she was trying to do for us. And therefore she could ask us to do anything and we would be willing to.
And you all were. Some people didn't get it. I remember there was one intern who didn't come back the next day. No call, no show. She came in one day, no call, no show the next day. And I called her and I basically said, what's the deal? And she didn't like the intensity. She didn't understand like that I was trying to get the best out of you. That if I'm going to like baby you, I'm not going to get the best out of you. And so I said, are you going to like man up and come back in tomorrow? I'm going to give you another chance and you're going to like suck it up, buttercup, and we're going to do this. Or are you going to turn your back on what could be one of the best opportunities of your whole life? And she came in the next day and she worked hard. She worked her ass off. She was one of my best interns after that.
That's
and
beautiful.
It was like, I understand, like I'm a lot. Nate knows I'm a lot when I'm in that situation. I mean, Jim saw this. I've been working days on like, what would I make? Like 100 graphics at this point and an intro video. And he just thought we were going live. I was like, I don't just go live, Jim. Like, I don't just do that. I was like, we're just going to go live and say hi. We're not going to have an intro. Like, what are you kidding me? So I take things.
Play the intro video one more time. Play the intro video.
Oh my God. No, it's so long. Oh my God. Go back to the other lives. I'll play it at the end.
Now that I'm meeting Jim, I love the dynamic between the two of you. It's good. This is
You get
fun.
it now? Yeah.
I do. This is good.
Where I'm like, Jim, that's great. No, maybe tomorrow. But like, I know I'm a lot and I know I'm intense, but I've always been the person, I think, Nate, we've talked about this before. Like, if we can do it, then let's do it. That was one of my biggest frustrations in corporate America, in corporate media, where it's like, we have this vision and you'd have team members that you would be like, okay, great. Like let's go execute exactly how Jim is. Like he's not the executor, but he's the idea guy. And I'm I'm great at executing things, but I would have other team members I'd have to rely on. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, hey, what's going on with this? Do we have this venue? Is this happening? Oh yeah, I left a voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Great. When did you leave a voicemail? 2 days ago. Are you effing kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
I was the person that would drive to the location and be like, hi, no one's responding to me. I need an answer. What are we doing? So I understand like that I can be an intense person, but if we can go here with whatever it is, then I'm gonna go here. I'm not gonna stay down here. And if you want to stay down here and you don't want to meet me up here, that's okay. Then the impact effect community is not for you.
Well, and
Does that make sense?
What Rachel just spoke to, this is kind of getting more into the leadership wing, but what Rachel just spoke to works most efficiently and authentically when you are as true as Jim was when he was talking about the things that he felt he had to work on and were his flaws. When people know that about you and they see you as literally the example of the one who's moving through those things and doing it anyway, I think that's when they really become most inspired. Like that human level of it. I loved as Jim was sharing that, like, that's why that truth. It's why I think both of you guys are incredible to listen to, because you're just fucking honest.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. Like, thank you so much for doing this. And thank you so much for showing up. Do we want to tell Jim what I'm doing in September? I'm turning 50 in October. And so Nate is walking me through this whole process. We meet monthly because I need to sort of be mentally prepared for what's going on. But I will be traveling to Sedona. What are we going to do, Nate?
We're going to do a lot of things. I mean, so first of all, 50 is like a huge gateway, especially we're not going to have time to get into it, but there's this thing called human design. And for
Rachel, my man, human design. Let's go.
I can find you someone that's can help with that if you guys need somebody to speak on it. But Rachel's human design is one that really up until the age of 50, she has had a lot of experimentation in her life. She's kind of tried things that they've taught her things, but that wasn't the thing. And then at the age of 50, it's like, boom, this is when all that learning really clicks in and you're fully ascending into who you know you can be. So I'm really honored that you're going to come spend some time with me here, Rachel. And basically what we're going to do is create a bunch of experiential symbolism for her to walk through that gateway. So part of it's going to be breath. Maybe there's going to be some cold water. There's sure as hell going to be some encounters with the land and the stars and the sky. The landscape here alone, back to creating a safe and nurturing space, is very powerful. Like literally you can just come to Sedona and like sit at the coffee shop and like all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I didn't resolve that thing with my stepfather from the year 1985 or whatever. Like it's just gonna happen here. So I think it's very courageous, Rachel, what you're doing. I'm excited to have you here. And that is really part of how I spend my time as a professional now, as we do these retreats, whether they're in groups or one-on-ones. And it's so fun. I can't believe that's my job now. It's great.
I know. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to throw up a little graphic. Tell everybody how they can contact you.
Yep. So you can find me at gettingthere.com. That's easy enough. Or if you have an Instagram, you can go to find at Getting There Nate. And I also have a YouTube channel that is just Getting There.
That's amazing. Well, and his YouTube channel is amazing. He is an incredible creator. And he takes his time with things. And I think that there's something so magical about that. At first, when he was putting out that content, I had a hard time with it because when people give space to their content, when you're so used to short form and it's like thought after thought after thought, I wasn't comfortable. I just wasn't comfortable watching it. And now that I can move into that space and allow myself that time to like think and breathe with a message and content, it's just so much easier. So thank you, Nate, for everything. I really, really appreciate you.
Honored to spend time with you guys. This has been fun.
I can't wait to have you in the community.
Let's go.
All right. Bye, buddy. I love you.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. All right. So our next guest, before I bring her up, Jim, do you want to really quickly do like a little bit of a plug? Do you want me to just put up this little backdrop while I get ready for her?
Yeah, put up. Thank you.
Okay.
So Nate was just talking about a bunch of things that align with our community. And one of the things that I was just so excited about to listen into and hear is the depth and passion that he brings to his work. And it reminded me, and you can see it, like I could feel the energy. You could see him glowing. He's smiling, right? Like all the body language was so positive and aligned around when he was discussing his transformation, his transition, and what he's been building in these retreats. And I think for the Impact Effect community, we want to see the same depth of excitement and passion and enthusiasm with you and your business. And we know that you hit roadblocks. There's going to be barriers. There's going to be plans that get destroyed. There's going to be moments where we need to pivot and transition, and we need to leverage the resources at hand. And those resources in the Impact Effect community are there waiting for you. Rachel and myself are there, excited to dive into this, excited to bring other members in that we know can help and benefit and grow you. So when I think about Impact Effect community and when I see the passion that Nate just exuded out of just discussing and talking about his story and his work and how he shows up, it just reminded me again on all the things that we've been working on and building and vetting and ensuring that we show up and show out for. Because at the end of the day, you and I both have been parts of communities where we felt that we were distant. We felt like we were just plugged into a course. We felt that we gained knowledge, we gained information, but what we're seeking to do and what we're seeking to build an Impact Effect community is different. We're seeking to ride with you and to create those experiential knowledge moments that you can lean into and you can leverage for the future of your business and the future of positive impact. At the end of the day, we have members who are seeking and congruent around the same goals. And although the business may be different, the product may be different, the source, the demographic, the audience, the location, like heck, you might even be in Canada or in Europe or Italy. But at the end of the day, we all know that we need resource, we need help, and we need a place to go to when we're in the darkest days, but also to celebrate those highest moments. And we want to build and continue to curate that space that allows you to do so. And to do so and to get excited about it, and a place to turn that's not like other communities, that's different, that's led by two folks who are pouring everything into it, putting their names, their family names. Like Impact Effect is the play on legacy for Jim Morris. Impact Effect is everything that I've wanted to do in my life, that I was scared of doing, that took years and different experiences to get to the point we're at today. And then I just have Nate come on and tell me about Rachel's turning 50. And this is where all the experiential knowledge transitions and she lives in her purpose and moves through it. And it's like the alignment's here, folks. And we're not trying to sell you anything. We're trying to give you an opportunity to make a decision that will benefit your future and the future of those around you and those that you impact with your product or service. If it sounds like there's an alignment, if it sounds like there's any inclination that I need this, and maybe I've turned away from other opportunities, jump in and take the opportunity today. Because at the end of the day, all we're doing is enrolling in a conversation with you to understand if this is a good fit. And we do have the money back guarantee if you're a struggling entrepreneur and you can't, afford to get mixed up or involved in something that you don't think the needle will move. Like, we'll give you the money back. It's not about money for us. If my life was built on money, I'd be selling 50 homes in real estate a year, like I was doing. and was making massive amounts of profit and didn't have a team and didn't have to manage anybody. But at the end of the day, I know that when I'm on the deathbed and I am looking back and reflecting on my life, that if I was just a real estate agent selling all those homes, then I wouldn't be leaving the legacy that I know is my purpose and where I want to show up and how I want to show up. So I just get excited. I know we got our next amazing guest coming on, but I just wanted to share that raw, honest truth and let you know that we're here for you when you need us, whether it's today, whether it's yesterday, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's in 6 months, whether it's in a year, whether it's in 10 years. I can promise you one thing. This is my life dream, and I will not give up on it because I do have the resources. I do have the members in the community, and that's what's going to get me through in the darkest days and the hardest moments. So if any of this interests you, we'd love to just talk to you, see if this is a good fit, see if we can create that impact which community has created for me and my life and my future growth.
Well, our next guest, let's put up our little graphic, is definitely going to make an impact on you, Jim. This woman is amazing. I'm going to play some music. Let's get into her intro. With a master's in leadership and no playbook, our next guest transforms Fortune 500 giants and leaders alike, turning personality science into unstoppable success. Please welcome Mindset Maverick and Say More Words podcast powerhouse, Tamika Taylor.
That was awesome. I want to come into intro music all the time.
Yes, I'm getting better at it. It was only like our 30th guest that I finally got it down. But of course it was for you.
Happy to reap the benefits. Yeah.
That's right. You are amazing. So Tamika Taylor, tell everybody kind of who you are and what you focus on, because I thought you were the perfect person to sort of be the second to last guest in this whole day, because when you speak, and we were talking just earlier about like the vibration in your voice,
Yeah.
I lean in. Man, when you talk, I am just like, oh my God, this woman, when she talks, you talk with such purpose. So tell everybody who you are, let Jim know who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Well, thank you so much. I love that. My name is Tamika Taylor, the Tamika Taylor on all social media. I'm a mindset and leadership consultant. Basically, long story short, I create exceptional humans. I have an undergraduate degree in social psychology, a master's degree in leadership, and I have studied humans for a really, really long time. I became super obsessed with the way that we communicate, the way that we talk, the way that we show up, all of that while I was in undergrad, and then I got my master's in it because I really wanted to create exceptional students. Sorry, apparently the entire dogs decided to like plow through here. Sorry. I wanted to create exceptional students, and then I realized that adults are just as lost as college students, like even more so. And so my life's purpose is to help individuals remove the masks that they wear every single day or that they've developed throughout their lives so that they can find their true authentic self.
Well, and Jim's passion is human connection. Like that is his whole passion, is human connection. Can you talk to me about the importance of people in our lives and surrounding ourselves with the right people and the right community? Because I feel like that has a huge play in this space in our lives. Because I know that there's, when you surround yourself with the wrong people,
you get the wrong things. It turns
exactly.
out. Yeah, my favorite saying that you'll hear speakers all over say, you are as blank as the 5 people you hang around. And the first time I heard that, I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, you are as smart, confident, happy, sad, sleepy, rich, poor as the 5 people you hang around. And that's when I first heard that, that's when I really started to dive deep into our connection. That's when I started to dive deep into the social side of community. I love to study, if you listen to my podcast, I love to study primal beings and how we were able to survive, way back when, and what aspects of that were, like, I haven't found a nice way to put it, were basically beaten out of us as we've gotten throughout the years. And COVID was like the perfect experiment of, and it's not a political thing. It's just exactly what happened when we separated and we were kind of like, we weren't beaten, obviously, and it wasn't like medieval times, but we were separated and we got to see the actual effects of us being taken into individual homes and separated. So what's great about what y'all are doing is that we're in that 5-year hangover where people are starting to realize, oh, I do need people in my life. I do need the right people in my life. I need to make sure that I'm taking advice from really competent people and not just Joe Blow Schmo on the internet. I need to be surrounded by people who fill me up. I have to be surrounded by, positive people. One of my favorite stories, if you don't mind me telling you, a lot of my things are animals and it's very weird. But do y'all know why they're able to catch king crabs?
No.
No way.
Weird question, but it goes into our community and it makes sense. So my family loves the show Deadliest Catch. It's one of our favorite shows. And if you watch the show, they drop these gigantic pods into the ocean and they catch all of these crabs because crabs are migratory creatures and they stay together. Now there's no revolving door on it. There's just a gigantic gaping hole and they walk into it and then they're stuck. Well, what happens if you watch the show every time, it's fascinating to see, there are crabs trying to crawl out. What ends up happening, because they believe that they are safer together, they start grabbing those crabs back down so they can't get out of the hole because it's like, well, we're here together and we're safe. That's the society we live in the United States. It's a bunch of crabs who are negative and crotchety and all of these things. And there's the few of us that are just fighting for our lives for the hole at the top that are the positive crabs. And it's a ridiculous example, but it's real. You have to surround yourself with the positive crabs who are trying to get out, who are trying to do something different, who are trying to be better in order for you to also be better.
So because you study human connection, I kind of want to ask you this question in relation to that, because then why do we always feel, especially business owners and entrepreneurs, why do we feel like we have to do this alone? Why do we feel like we can't tell people what's really going on and make that real connection? Why do we have to lie and say how great everything is? Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
I'm totally fine. We are all Ross from Friends. I'm fine. I'm fine. Fajitas. Every day it is fajitas in the business world because we're sold the American dream. And the American dream, while beautiful, is not real. So we're taught that our ancestors opened up a bakery and dad worked in that bakery by himself and he did all of the things. And we're taught that is the dream, to just do it all by yourself. What we're not taught is that in order for your ancestor to have started that bakery, they had to meet the farmer who was getting all of the stuff. I don't know how to make anything that's in a bakery. I don't know why I chose that example, but they had to know a farmer who had eggs and they had to have a farmer who had this. But we weren't taught that part. We were taught in order to do it and in order to get the credit for it, you have to do it yourself. And that's a bunch of BS. It's not real, but that's what we've been taught throughout the generations.
I also think for the longest time, had to unravel the corporate mindset, right? I worked in corporate media. And I'm an 80s kid, right? So my parents are like baby boomers. So they grew up, you work the same job, you put money into your 401k, you get a pension. And if you live to retire to spend that money, God bless you. And so once I left,
you did it.
Right. I was like, oh God, I was so scared to leave, number one. And then when I did, and I'm working on this business, there's so many times where it still pulls at me where it's like, maybe I just need to get a job. Maybe I just need a steady paycheck, because nobody ever told me these ups and downs of entrepreneurship. There's no steady paycheck. You never know what's going to happen from one day to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you help people out of that mindset of, I'm just going to go back and get a job. I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to get a job. I'm not going to try to build this business. How do you talk to people about that? Or do you not try to convince them? Do you just say, if you feel like that's in your highest and best good, go for it. Let me know how that goes in a month.
Love that journey for you. Bye. Bye. Quite honestly, it's bringing the reality to the situation that you've put yourself in. like just as you said, one of my favorite authors is Darren Hardy, and he has like, daily drops and things like that. But he wrote a book called The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. And it literally is the space of like the ultimate highs and the ultimate lows. And when people are working with me, I tell them like, you can only believe in a level of success for your business to the level of success you believe in yourself. Like starting a business is a gigantic magnifying glass of everything you've ever done wrong in your life, you've ever thought wrong, anything, like any mistake you've ever made. Like it is the ugliest space to be because you just have this gigantic mask or this gigantic magnifying glass of like, here are all of the things emotionally you need to fix. What I tell my people, I'm like, only truly, the only people who make it in business are the ones that are emotionally safe in themselves. Plain and simple. Like you can look at some of the best business owners, and while you may think like, oh, okay, well, you've made some like interesting decisions, they're emotionally centered in themselves, and that's what makes them successful. And so while we're going through the process, one of the biggest things I tell my people, you have to talk. You have to talk through the space. You have to talk through the experiences, and you have to be open and honest and willing to walk through the muck of your own junk in order to process the junk of your business. But yeah, you'll have, it's just like anything in life though, too, like successful relationships. It's like you're in a relationship with your business. And how many times, if you're in a successful marriage or you've been in a successful relationship where you're like, I hate you. Like, I love you, but I hate you right now. And I need to step away. We have to do the same thing with our business and be in the space of, is this an emotional reaction? Is this something I can fix? Take yourself out of emotion, bring yourself back into logic, allow your emotional brain to then catch back up, breathe belief into you, and then move forward again.
And Jim, you can speak to this next thought too, is I also think sometimes it's okay to pivot. Like maybe you started an idea that you thought was going to be amazing. Maybe you started going down that road and you just realized, you know what, I really don't have a passion for this, or this is not where my heart is. But we feel like, oh, but I put so much time and I put so much money and I put so much effort into this. Jim, I know you've pivoted in business. Tamika, I'm not sure like where you've pivoted, but I feel like sometimes community and people that are honest with us give us that permission to pivot. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, and when you're in a community of people who are also going through some of the struggles that you've been going through, you'll have people in the community who are like, oh, I've done that. I've already paid the tax on that experience. Like, let me tell you what I did. Pivot, again, another friend's reference. I do a lot of Ross's freakouts throughout business coaching. I'm like, pivot, we've got to pivot, because you'll have an idea. And just because it doesn't work right now, I tell my clients all the time, the God or the universe or whatever you believe in, the deferral does not mean denial. It just means that you had to learn something here in order to get to the next step. Or you started it too soon. You were gung-ho. I heard Jimmy say you're high in ideation. Same. I have all of the ideas. I'm not going to execute on any of them, but I have all of the ideas. All of them. And sometimes it's like, I had to have this idea, and I had to go through this experience, and I had to have this failure in order to learn something so very powerful about myself, so that this next idea does make it.
I could not agree more with every single word that just came out of your mouth. I mean, there's nothing I would change. That was magical and the truth. And it's the truth to my experience as well. You know, I think at the end of the day, I think back of the best podcast I've ever been on. It's number 20 in the world, like legit. Okay. Not like everybody says their podcast is number 20, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in the top 1%, right?
Yeah.
Of course. But I was supposed to do that in July, and they canceled the day before. I lost money on the flight, the hotel, had to rebook, had to take time off, do all the things. And initially anger came up, right? And I was upset and pissed off. I felt, oh, I'm robbed. Like, I'm robbed of this money. This wasn't the deal, right? The deal wasn't for me to double my expenses. The deal was for me to come out there, crush this, and create impact. That being pushed 2.5 months allowed me to prepare. And I say this humbly, absolutely fucking crush that podcast. Like I was a different human being, and I was tested right before into some old victimhood situations and scenarios. So it came up rising when I know I was working on it and beating it back down. And I never would have been able to navigate that literally 7 seconds before I walk into the podcast that's happening.
Yeah.
So I couldn't agree more with what you said about the fact that maybe this is uniquely positioning us for the right moment. The other thing that you said, and Rachel and I have talked about this on our Momentum Hour in the community, is those ideas often need to go to a parking lot list. Right? Put those outside the office in the parking lot. We can come back to them. We're going to get our car at the end of the day. We're going to drive it again. It's full of gas.
Yep.
But let's leave those out in the parking lot, because right now that's not aligned with the goal, the strategy, and the level of impact we're seeking to enable and act upon in hopes that we can create that ripple effect. So I couldn't agree more. I'm all fired up. I'm jazzed up now. You've been telling me about Tamika, and I'm just like elated at this point. I'm like,
She's amazing.
We gotta hang out. We gotta get you in the community ASAP.
She will make you think, that is for sure. All right, Tamika, I'm going to throw a little graphic up. What is the best way for people to reach you, to reach your community? Give me all the things. I've got a couple things on the graphic, but I know there's more. Tamika, talk about how they can contact you. Can she not hear me, Jim?
Oh, I must have moved her out. Sorry.
Oh, pop her back in. Oh, okay. Tamika, can you hear me now? I don't know. Tamika, can you hear? I don't think she can hear us. All right. Well, Tamika, this is how you can get in touch with her. The Tamika Taylor on Instagram, and then also the evolutioncollective.co. Jim, talk to me about the community really quickly while I'll get Celeste, our beautiful last guest on. Celeste, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to go. Perfect. All right. Hold on one second. I'm going to throw this up for a minute. All right. Go ahead. Take it away.
So one of the things that we're offering members that join today, and all of our members, is Go High Level. So this system has drastically changed my business. It's brought in more revenue, and it's also reduced the expense. So if you look at this graphic, or if you're listening in the car and you can't, see it, it's basically like 30 different softwares rolled up in one. You can schedule your content. You can approve your content. You can plan it. It's got pipelines to build out communications, whether that's text, whether that's email campaigns. You can provide payments. You can sign contracts digitally. You can send out opportunities for invoices and create subscriptions. You can build community inside of it. You can do all these amazing things. And we want to give that to you for free every single month as part of a member in the Impact Effect community. It's really important for me to share the systems that have actually worked and changed my business, my future, and my revenue projections. At the end of the day, I eliminated almost $900 worth of other systems to just invest into this system. And by getting around the right people, getting in the right community, I've learned how to use it and how to leverage it. And we want to do that for you. We want to teach you how to use it. We want to provide training, but most importantly, we want to be there to support you with your follow-up questions and answer the things that matter most, so we can get you moving, get you taking action, and continuing to impact others with your product and service, but also show up for yourself and build the business of your dreams. I believe that systems are a must when it comes to business. Clearly, Tamika mentioned systems earlier. She agrees with us. And Impact Effect community, think of it as an enhanced system where we're giving you these resources. We're giving you these nuggets. We're bringing you through a curriculum of information based on the level that you're at, based on our conversations and our discussions. So I really just want to, welcome anybody to join us, to ask questions. Feel free to comment below. We're here to help you. We're here to provide impact. And I'm just excited about our next guest. We got Celeste in the house. Let's
I
go.
know. I'm so excited. Can you hear me okay? Switch to headphones. I'm going to see if this works better. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go, Celeste. You're going to have some walk-up music. Ready? Our next guest turned the new girl into a global force, proving your voice isn't just heard, it's felt. Please welcome confidence architect and voice empowerment pioneer, Celeste Leon. Hold on, here we go. Yay! Woo woo!
Guys, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Hey, Jim. Hi, Rachel. I know you guys have been doing this all day, so I'm truly honored that you guys are having me here on this live to talk about community. How are you both doing so far?
Great. Actually, shockingly great. Like, I think I hit a lull in the afternoon. Jim was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "This is a lot, Jim. This is a lot." But like, let's go. Let's go. I'm so happy to have you here. Hi. It's so nice to finally meet you. Tell people a little bit about what you do, because and explain like the new girl reference I made in the intro.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Rachel. So nice to meet you as well. And I think you're saying that because I'm newer to Nashville, so to a Nashville community. I actually, this month is my 2-year anniversary. And I think I'm such a great example of somebody who can move to a new city with knowing 0 people and truly build an insane community, even after a year of just being here, because it's all about the action that you take, and networking takes truly an effort. And I know, Jim, you... when I first moved here, I think I came to one of your events probably about 6 months into my move into Nashville. That was Impact Effect 2023. And then being able to then, stay connected and then MC and host Impact Effect 2024 was just like a beautiful dream come true, and just beyond happy to be part of your community here. And I also have built a few communities of my own. So I know the power, the magic that really that brings. And it can, I think, is the key to transformation for people. So I'm the founder of the Nashville Book and Sip Club here in Nashville. I'm also the founder of Celeste Leon LLC, where I'm a public speaking and confidence coach, as well as a professional MC and host for big events.
That is awesome. That's amazing. But you're also almost like a confidence coach. You help people to be more confident on camera. I have a similar background. It's what I help people do. But the funniest thing is I was able to help other people do it, but I wasn't confident on camera for so long. What is it that you do to help people create that feeling and that safe space where they can just be themselves on camera and talk to the camera and not be scared to post the content, like do the thing?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And first, I would say, if you're somebody who needs help with that, it's never overnight, first of all. So there's not here's the one tip and tomorrow you will completely change. It's truly a journey. It's a journey from going to, let me face my fears. Let me tap into my purpose of why I even want to do that in the first place. So a little bit, I always start with mindset work with somebody, and then I go into the technical aspects of public speaking and getting it done. You need both. And I always tell people, if you have that dream now, if you have that goal now, you will see the real impact, transformation results when you look at yourself from either 6 months to a year from now. If you commit to doing the work now, to learning how you want to truly step into a new person, because the person who is afraid of, for instance, even putting themselves out there, has to transform into a new person to truly become that leader that they've always envisioned. It takes getting rid of some limiting beliefs. It takes surrounding yourself with a new crowd. It takes you finally making that decision of, I'm going all in. I'm going to figure it out along the way. I truly believe that's with everything. So I'm that guide. I'm that person that's going to take you from A to B to make that happen.
Well, and Jim, we've talked about this today. She's created multiple communities. Did you overthink it? Did you want it to be perfect before you started? Or did you just take messy action? Did you just do the thing and start inviting people? Like, talk to me about taking messy action, and then talk to me about the importance of community.
Absolutely, Rachel. I think bringing people together always comes from an inner desire, an inner dream to have some kind of impact or transformation. And I created a community in New Jersey. I've created a community here in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was just about taking action and initially bringing those people together those first couple of months, and eventually you make it better. You refine the systems, you make the events themselves better. I'm so blessed to say that my community here in Nashville is now at over 150 members internally with a 900 member wait list. And our events that we're hosting from about 2 a month now just keep getting better. And the biggest thing about community, right, which I know, Jim, is what you're trying to do, what you're doing already, you're not trying, you're doing it already, is that you get people to do things they would have never done on their own. I truly believe that's the magic of community, because sometimes you want to get from A to B on your own, but you're stuck somewhere. You cannot figure it out. And it's truly in that environment of community that you figure out, because either somebody has already done it that's in that community, or it's the motivation from the people that get you to take action. And I'll give you an example, right? I have a female book club. I used to be I would only read personal development books for years. And it's amazing. I connect with so many people over that, but I wanted to get out of my own comfort zone of reading more books, reading more authors, reading more genres that I would have never read before. And now in my book club, we read everything: personal development, thrillers, historical fiction, romance, books that I would have never in my life grabbed on my own and bought at a bookstore, that now I'm like, oh my goodness, there is so much magic in these stories and lessons that I would have never thought, because I wasn't open to it then. But it's the fact that the community brought up these books, we wanted to read them together, that now I'm like, wow, there's so much more than what I even thought. And I think that is what the community that Jim is building is also going to do, for sure.
Celeste, with your move to Nashville and your experience coming to a place that's new, you may have had experiences in your life where you've trusted people and they may not have done the things that they said they'd do, or maybe there was, a situation where things didn't work out. How did you get over the fact of, I'm in a new place, I know a community is important, but how am I going to go build that? Like, can you share kind of your experience and your knowledge around the fact that it was probably scary, you literally didn't know anybody, like you said, and then also, you may have, if you're anything like me, you may have maybe double thought about it, or maybe even questioned it at one point in the beginning when you didn't have that community around you. Can you kind of share your experience moving from Jersey to Nashville, not knowing anybody, understanding community, but then taking that leap of faith to come to an impact event, come and put yourself out there and take that action?
Absolutely, Jim. And anybody who is currently watching us, hello, thank you for being here. And if you have also perhaps moved in your life before, or you want to move, I think I want to speak to you as well on this, or especially for those thinking about wanting to make a move, but you haven't yet. I personally, not only did I move to Nashville without knowing anybody, but once upon a time, I moved from Peru to New Jersey with my mother as a teenager without knowing anybody. And I know how important it is for us to get out of our own way in order to build community. In community, right, we think of friends, we think of family, of people that are there to support you, to inspire you, to teach you something new, to bring you some new perspective. And here's the thing, guys, no one is going to come knock on your door to be your friend. No one is going to just hit you up randomly to make things happen and have those deep conversations. you attract what you desire. So the first step is to show up. I remember when I first moved here with my partner, Justin, we both barely knew anybody, right? I think maybe he knew a couple more people. And we had a goal that first year, hey, we will attend a minimum, I think we said like 6 networking events a month. It's just about showing up. Because that first time we show up somewhere, nobody knows us. That second time we show up to a networking event, maybe one person knows us, and now they get to see our faces again. And how do you build trust? When you show up again and again and again, right? That's what we say about social media. Show up multiple times and people feel like they know you. That's the same thing about in-person events. When you show up again and again, and now it's like, oh, this is the third time I saw that amazing woman. She's an entrepreneur here in Nashville locally. Now we feel like we know each other. We actually don't know each other, but because we've seen each other's faces, we have felt each other's energy. And now there has been that like connection of somehow, some way through those events, those conversations, that collaboration, or hopefully maybe that business connection just happens much more naturally. And that is how I'm able to have built the communities that I have. I know it's one of my gifts. I know it's one of your gifts, Jim. But even for us, right, who are creating these environments of community, people have to want to take action. We can give all the resources. We can give all the tools. I create these beautiful events with agendas and games and questions. But if people are not willing to pour their heart, if people are not willing to show up, if people are not willing to get a little bit uncomfortable, our work doesn't really matter. So it's both ways. I want to help you, and you need to want to help yourself and want to grow. So I definitely always want to attract that. I always want that to be the number one step of like, you got to want it more than we want it for you.
Mic drop moment. Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, that was so good. You touched upon something quickly, and I kind of want to bring it back because Jim and I kind of talked about this earlier, but sometimes you have to have belief in yourself. But when you have that belief of the community around you, it makes it a little bit easier, right? Like, it's not just the belief in yourself, but it's also other people believing in you too. I think it helps you show up. It helps you take that action. When you're on the lonely island and, you're not making those human connections, you tend to stay in like learning mode. You tend to stay in that space of like non-action, right? Where it's just like, no one's coming to save you, right? You just said that. No one's coming to knock on your door and be like, hey, let's go do this thing. You have to put yourself out there. So be comfortable being uncomfortable, but also a community that believes in you helps you take that action. Do you agree with that? I know, Jim, we've talked about that before, but I want to hear what Celeste has to say.
Yes, I completely agree. I think there's I call it kind of like community motivation. And it's like when everybody's doing something, then you're like, well, everybody else is doing, so I have to go and do it. There's no excuses at that point anymore. It kind of takes that away. And it's like, they're all showing up, so let me show up back for them so we can all say, we did it. When I think about my book club, right, what we do is we all read one book per month. Now, if you're somebody who has read 3 books per year, this is a big challenge. This is a big challenge for you. But you know that there's another 150 people doing the same thing. So you're like, I have to do it. Let me figure out how to do it, right? And if you're struggling, that's the beauty that you can go and ask somebody else, like, hey, how are you doing it? For myself right now, I just started something, a 14-day journal challenge because I wanted to kind of get that consistency again for my own life. And I had 10 people just from my stories to be like, hey, I want to do it too. Now we're on almost day 10 and it's beautiful. So they're all also doing it because we're all doing it together. So 100% to anybody listening, if you have some type of goal, you want to go from A to B, but you're struggling to truly stay in the B area, whatever that is, joining a community is the key to doing it faster and with more support.
You mentioned faster and more support. Talk to me a little bit about what that really means as far as your growth. So obviously you're talking about the journal, you're talking about you wanted to bring that back in your life. But have you been part of a community that's pushed you to something that you may not even have thought about or may not have even experienced or ideated around? Have you ever had a situation where that you could share with us that the community actually helped mature an idea or a thought to actually get you to take that action? I think for most, I mean, all three of us agree it's about action, right? Like that's the big word here. You need to show up, you need to do the thing. You can't just, rely on faith and not actually do it. But can you tell us a little bit about a personal experience that you've been a part of where a community or a group of folks that you're involved in actually brought new ideas and new opportunity to you?
Yeah, I'll share something a little bit more personal. I remember, so I started emceeing and hosting events around 22 years old, but it first started as just as a, hey, why don't you come do us this favor? It was actually, I emceed my first beauty pageant because I had been in one back when I was like 19. And they were like, you're well-spoken, you'll connect with the girls since you've done it before. And I did it. It went wonderful. Then I did a couple more community events and I started emceeing a little bit more. I never knew that was an actual career. I never knew this is something people did professionally. I thought this was just something fun that people did on the side. And it wasn't until I started doing it a little bit more and I started to get paid a little bit where I was like, wait, do people actually like make big money around this? I truly had no idea. So I remember I was like, let me look up and see if there's anyone who does this for a living. And somehow I found somebody and joined. She was hosting monthly calls and had a little community for female MCs who did this as a profession and wanted to take their skills to the next level. And that was the first time I heard, hey, like, oh, I don't charge any less than $5,000 for this kind of gig. And I was like, wait, what? What? It was mind blowing. Oh no, I charged $10,000 for that. Oh, no. And I was like, wait, what? That was just, I absolutely knew nobody in my circle at the time who even did that. And anybody who did do it, who did MC, it was just like as a favor. So that completely changed the game for me and how I viewed it as a profession and kind of opened the door to elevate me to step into that and take that more seriously and really grow my skills. Because it's different when you do something as a hobby, when you do something sometimes, and you have that shift to no, wait, let me take that to the next level. And having that community of women at that time was truly an eye-opener. It completely redefined my own goals and the way I looked at it. And yeah, it changed the game for me.
What a story. Like, wow. Because I see you on the stages. I mean, you emceed Impact Effect, crushed it. I think you flew out the next day. I was doing my TED Talk and
Yes.
you flew out the same night. You were going,
The same night.
yeah, you were traveling to go do a big event. So I see it and I see the talent behind it. I see the passion. I feel the passion in the conversation, right? I've read your body language. I see your eyes open up in the excitement. And it's just such a beautiful thing because it puts me in a place to think, imagine if you didn't join that community. Puts me in a place to think, imagine if you weren't opened up to new ideas, to new situations, to new revenue streams, and you're damn good at it. Like that's the other piece is like, this could have been an opportunity for wasted talent, but it wasn't. You showed up for yourself, you pushed through, you got yourself in the community, you spent the time, you showed up like we were talking about, and here you are today traveling all over the world to MC, to host, and to create and to start off these amazing experiences with not only just hundreds of people in the room like Impact, but even thousands, and for some of these massive corporations. So I'm grateful for you, Celeste, and I thank you for everything you've done for the Impact Effect community. And I just appreciate your level of vulnerability and talking through some of those challenging things and how you leaned on community and how that community showed up for you and put you in the position you're in today. So thank you so much, Celeste. I really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you for being here tonight, especially, 8 p.m. Central. I know you're doing a bunch of things and got a big day probably ahead of you. So I just appreciate you. And thanks again for taking time. And I'm excited for you to meet my new business partner, producer Rachel.
I know she and I can do a little class inside of the community. So I can't wait about like content and showing up in your content. We'll do this together. I'm going to throw up a little graphic, Celeste. Tell people how they can get a hold of you. What's the best way to contact you?
Yep. So anybody who wants to follow me on social media at celesteleon.co. That's also my website, Celeste Leon, on really all the socials. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. It has been such a pleasure, and I'm so proud of you, both of you, for building community. Anybody who's bringing people together, I see you. I know you are truly making an impact. And thank you to everybody who joined this live from my community. Love you all. Appreciate you so, so much.
Thank you, Celeste. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh.
How you feeling, producer Rachel? You fired up? You excited?
I am excited. I think what was so funny was yesterday when I was talking to Stefan on the phone and just having the moment that I had to have, feeling my feelings instead of fighting them. I said, it's not tomorrow that I'm thinking about. It's not the live day. It wasn't today. This I got. It's tomorrow. It's Wednesday. When we start showing up in the community and we start this thing that we've been talking about for so long. I mean, for you even longer. I can't imagine thinking about this for so long. And then we're finally here. Like, I want to hear from you. How does this feel for you? I've only been a part of it for a few months. But you've been thinking about this and ideating on this and dreaming about this for so long. Talk to me about how you feel.
You had to make me go there, huh? This has been something that I've wavered throughout my life. When I look back and I think about my experiences and the challenges that I've had, it's always been a person that's pulled me out of it. Like, I can give you the stories and the testimonials around the times that I've made poor mistakes and stupid decisions and shouldn't be here today, right? Like, we heard Dr. Justin talk about, flipping over the canoe and almost not being here himself. And I think back of that same situation, and what I realized is all those things that have challenged me, that I've pushed through, that I've overcome, the people in my life that I thought would be here forever that disappeared, whether for a good reason or not, doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, I don't think I could have done this any earlier. I don't think it would have felt perfect in alignment and in timing. And I'm actually grateful for the situations that I thought were the hardest and non-deserving, like losing a business partner right after I invest in a conference to promote this and launch it, and having the thoughts of maybe pivoting back to spending more time in real estate because it made me $500,000 and I was really good at it. Maybe it's, going back into the world of, well, why don't I just write a book and go into a hermit crab shell and just, leverage that and use that as the source. And do I really need to get on lives and do I really need to shoot, 3 to 4 podcasts every 10 days? And when I actually sit down and I think about it, and I actually go to a place where Jim Morris becomes little Jimmy Morris, and where I'm the happiest in my life is around people that I align with that want to make positive change. And the person who is having a panic attack and doesn't have a solution, the person that is making tons of money and they're expenses are only 3% of their profit and they're doing, 3 mil, but they're miserable and they're lonely and they're struggling. And what you don't know is they've been pouring themselves a bourbon every single night for the last 11 years and have cirrhosis of the liver because of it. Right. And that's just one little example of some of the conversations I've had with people that have come across and involved in the community, whether they're on stage, whether they're backstage, whether it's a conversation in the men's bathroom waiting for the next available urinal. Like, it doesn't matter where it is or when it happens, but the magic and the beauty of putting together everything that I've learned and everything that I've been through to give it to people at the price that we can offer it, and I can feel good about it, meaning like the lowest price for me to possibly still think that the value is as high as it is. And when we get the opportunity to do that right now, we get an opportunity to go live for like 15 hours in total today, or whatever it comes out to be. And I just so happen to spend the most amount of money I've ever spent on a speaker by hiring Brian Galkey, which in turn brings me to producer Rachel, who's doing and put this whole live stream experience together when it's something that scares the living shit out of me and I don't like tech problems. Like, all this has now come to fruition to be here in this moment today, tonight, and to think about the beauty that's coming. Like, it's not me being futuristic and unrealistic. I know what is coming because I've been there and I've seen little snippets of it, whether it's on stage and 30 people are lined up to talk to me, whether it's the woman who's crying and bawling her eyes out because she spent the last $500 to come to an Impact Effect event and her life has immediately changed. And she's showing up as a better mom, and she's showing up as a better friend. And she's now has a community of people to rely on and to reference and to spend time with. To think about all the things to get us to this point today, I don't even know how to describe the emotion, because just like you and anybody else listening, we have our bad days. And when you're this close, like we launched this thing like 5 months ago, 6 months ago, and pulled it back within 12 hours because it didn't feel right. There didn't feel that level of alignment, and we had to do what made the most sense, and not the most sense for me, not the most sense for Jim's wallet, not the most sense for what I believe I needed in that moment, but to do the right thing for the audience, to do the right thing for the members, to do the right thing for everybody that believes in Jim Morris, that he is going to pour everything into this community, everything that I have, everything that I've learned, every single person that I've met. If I think that they can help some member of the Impact Effect community, I will be the first person to call them until they pick up the fucking phone, because that's how passionate I am about having a business and having a life that you wish and you want and you dream about, because I've been there and I haven't chased it, and I haven't done the things that I know are going to position me to live at the level of happiness and the level of excitement to truly feel life, to actually go through it and feel it. And that time is now, and we're here, and everything has worked together to get us to this point. So when I think about what happens tomorrow, what happens after this official launch, and we open it up to everybody, and we bring on those 33 members that signed up today, and we continue to help them, and which in turn they tell their friends or their family or another associate in the business or the industry. We get to meet them and we get to pour into them. That's what I'm most excited about, because I've had it in little pieces and little snippets. And this is the culmination of the ideas I've had for the last 5 years, the ideas that I believe were born in my soul, and I was positioned perfectly to execute it and to be here tonight to launch it and to get to work. Like, I'm excited to get to work, and that is the biggest change in my life, is to actually get excited to come on and do a live all day long when I'm scared shit of technology and AV and speakers and all of it, right? Like there's so much that went into this today to just sit here and be at the end of it and just appreciate it and have the gratitude and to just lean into that feeling and that emotion and sit with it for a second. Like this is the emotion that we are going to walk you through and get you to in the Impact Effect community. The emotion, what you see right here, what I feel, the crackling in my voice, the depth in my eyes. Like this is the window to my soul that you're looking at. And we're going to be able to have these moments for people that, I mean, today I don't even know exist, right? Because they saw this live or their friend told them about it, or it was on one of our speakers' channels today, or you see an ad, or you're just like, man, this is the third time I've seen this Impact Effect thing. What is this? Let me go just check out impacteffectcommunity.com and see what's up, see what it's about.
And that's all we're asking people too, right? Whether you joined us live, maybe you're watching the replay, like just come check us out. Like we're not asking you for anything more than the opportunity to get to know you. Jim is all about human connection. I want to get to know you. He truly, this man lights up when he can help somebody, and it has nothing to do with padding his wallet. I can attest to that truthfully. I mean, you saw, if you watched today's live with all of these guests that know him, he loves to help people. I'm just asking you, like, come check us out. Let him help you. Let us help you. There's really nothing to lose. Give yourself the opportunity, value yourself, love yourself enough to take the next step. We want action takers. We want people that are ignited by, oh my gosh, I can possibly live out my dream. Oh my goodness. Somebody can help me on the yellow brick road down to success. And we will change your mind. We'll shift your mind a little bit. We'll redefine what success means to you, because I think a lot of times people have someone else's vision of what success is. And Jim has lost a lot, but I think because of those losses, I think you've gained so much more. And because of that, you can bring such a depth to this community that other people just haven't been able to do in their community. So hopefully something peaked for you with this. Hopefully you felt the energy that we've been giving you all day long, whether you're watching the live now, whether you're going to watch it in a replay, whether you're going to see the 10,000 shorts my editor's in the middle of making right now. Just give us a try. That's all we're asking. It's just come by and see what it is. Do you want to walk them through it, or do you want to save that for another day? We can walk them through it another day, or you can walk them through the app really quickly. What do you want to do?
Let's pull up the app. Let's just dive into it real quick. For those that have watched and spent time with us all day, I want to pull it back up because maybe you didn't see it in the morning. We got some comments here. Oh, Justin, my man Justin, throwing that love back. All right, let me just share the screen. We'll give you a preview. The other thing to note is there is a free space within the community. So the first 4 or 5 sections you can activate and utilize. I would advise you that you're missing the objective if you go that route, because we can't provide the level of help that I know I'm giving to the other members, right? And we have to do that from an ethical standpoint, because they have paid and they have invested in themselves. So I just wanted to make that reference because someone had texted me earlier and said, hey, I'm in a tough spot. Is there anything that I can do today? And my response was jump into that piece of the community, because at the end of the day, you're going to meet people, you're going to connect, and you can still leverage and utilize some of the resources that we have. We drip some stuff. We bring you into some lives. We let you test it. We let you taste it. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, if this doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me. Very simple concept. If this don't work for you, it doesn't work for me. I don't want your money. That's it. I don't want your money to grab your money. I want the person to show up that believes in themselves that this investment is the right thing to do in the moment. And whatever happens after that is us doing it together, right? So you've got a friend in me, you've got a friend in Rachel. And at the end of the day, at the end of all this, why do it alone? You belong here. So let's show you what we're rocking with. Let's show you what we got cooking up, and then we can wrap up tonight. And I hope everybody's had an amazing day and had an amazing experience with the community. So here's that first section that I'm talking about below the feed. So the feed will show you everything that's come in recently. And today, as you can see, it comes from these different spaces. So this was an audio message. One of the things that we were talking about earlier today is we have to understand and analyze the level of individualization with how we show up with our curriculum, how we teach. So one of the things is when you come into the member community and the Plus community here at Impact Effect, you are going to get an assessment, and that assessment is going to give us a ton of information so we can show up best for you, so we can create content that sticks and it allows you to absorb it at the rate in which you're naturally learning and leveling up to. So what does that actually mean? It means, are you someone that's visual, someone that's auditory, someone that leverages reading and writing, or kinesthetic, someone that has to go and do it? So this example in the feed is from our motivation bite. And what I do is I provide an audio sound bite so you can listen to it and you can receive that. The other is just a quote, right? So that way, if you read it and you have to read it to understand it and analyze it, you can also see this option here as well. This is the actual assessment that I was talking about that we put in the community. So we can dive into that as well. But ultimately, when you jump in the community, you want to go to this first section, which is welcome. You want to introduce yourself. So this gives you some guidelines around an introduction, what to say. And you can also see that there's other people that have done this and introduced themselves as well. So great photo of Amy at the last event. This is the positivity and motivation. This is what I was talking about with the daily impact and some of the quotes, switching your mentality from why this is happening to me to what is it trying to teach me is a game changer. I developed these quotes. I've been putting information in my cell phone for about 4 or 5 years now. It's called Quotes of Wisdom. So everything that I've put in here, I believe in. Everything I've put in here, I've read and I've experienced. And I want to share that with you. So to me, this isn't just a section of quotes. This is a section that pushed me to take action. We have our office hours, which we call Momentum Hour, which is every single week scheduled on Tuesdays. So what we do in this is we do a live Q&A where you can ask questions as a Plus member. You can get feedback. We can troubleshoot. We can pull you up on a hot seat, and we can build this thing out around exactly what you need in the moment. This is part of the free community, but the reason why I said it's for Plus is because we go a full hour. So you don't have the opportunity to spend the entire hour with us in the free community, which probably won't give you the opportunity to jump in a hot seat, to talk about your problems, and to get true feedback that takes action. So that's why we ask you to join the Plus membership so we can actually show up for you and position you in the best position possible. Event calendar, pretty simple, pretty basic, exactly what it says. It tells you all the things we got coming up so you can coordinate and you can block time to ensure that you're going to the things that are actually moving the needle, the things that you need in your life. So for instance, if you just did a rebrand that you've been thinking about for 6 months and you just paid a marketing company or you had a buddy help you out, you just rebranded all your stuff, then it wouldn't make sense for you to come to a rebranding webinar with one of our subject matter experts. But we want to show you what's coming up so that way you can share feedback with us. Because when you're a Plus member, we call you every single month and we ask you what problems you're facing, what challenges, and what you need in real time. Because I do not believe in writing out a script and scheduling everything out in the world that potentially could be beneficial for our members. That I'm just fucking guessing at that point. And what I'm doing is actually being lazy and not doing the hard thing and showing up for what matters most, which is you, a member of Impact Effect community.
Which is,
So-
wait, really quickly, why we say it's like a living and breathing thing, right? Like we're not throwing a calendar up from now until the end of the year. We are creating it as we go based on what the members need. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, so he's not going to show you anything yet because we need to know like what it is that you want so that we can build that out. We're not going to just shove information down your throats of what we think you need. So we build it as we go, and we create lives that we'll have and co-working sessions and momentum hours where we will teach you in micro increments what it is that you want to learn instead of us creating a curriculum and forcing it down your throats. It is a living and breathing organism. So that's why like we are creating as we go. We are showing up every day. So that's kind of why like he's not going to show you anything because we're literally doing it right now. We want to know from you, the members of the community, what it is that you want instead of us telling you what we think you need. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I think it's super important because I have frameworks that work for me. I can tell you how to position yourself to socially sell online and bring in 1.6 million in the next 24 months in revenue that way. I have a perfect framework. I do it for certain clients. And we pivot in the moment after I learn the client and we utilize a framework that aligns with them. Why would I do that for my one-on-one clients and not for my membership community? Well, I can tell you exactly why most people don't do that, because it takes more work and it's hard to do. You have to create in real time. You have to leverage real relationships, and you have to bring in subject matter experts constantly, and the problems change. So you know what? That is the hard thing to do. That is not the easy button. And as you can see, I'm so passionate about it that, someone asked me, they're like, why are you doing the community that way? And I said, I don't know. I like to do hard things, right? That was like my just kind of pushback, smart ass comment. And they're like, you're a glutton for punishment. And my response to that statement was, you're probably right, but it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do to ask you what your symptoms are so I can properly diagnose you. It's the right thing to do to communicate with you because you're a human. You're not the business. You're not the brand. You're part of the brand, but you're not the product offering. Even if you are a speaker, even if you are a solopreneur, even if you are a consultant, even if you sell your IP and make money off it, if you're an author, right? But that's not really the truth. Because at the end of the day, what we're selling is our passion and how we show up. And I don't want to show up as a fake and a phony because I do not believe that a script works for everybody. I do not believe that you're an entrepreneur. You do these 1, 2, 3, 4 things, you're going to become a millionaire. Quite honestly, I prefer to call out every single person like that and ask them what their track record is. So if you're telling me this is a guarantee to produce X, Y, and Z, and this framework gives you this, I want to talk to every single one of your clients on the phone and ask them what their experience is. Why wouldn't you allow me to do that if you can guarantee it? So we don't want to play those games. We don't want to misdiagnose your problems or your challenges. We don't want to guess, because guessing has never gotten me to the result I wanted, and it damn sure ain't going to get you as a member of Impact Effect Community to the results that you want, the results that we want for you. So that's why we build it. That's why we take feedback. That's why we call you every single month as the founders of this community to get with you, to understand what's going on in your life, what's going on in your personal, what's going on in your business, what's the challenges you're facing, what are you scared of, what are you struggling about, what's keeping you up at night. Let me ask you a question if you're listening to this live right now. Who in your life is asking you those questions? Who in your life are you guaranteed a phone call to ask you that question? If it's no one, your solution's right here waiting for you. I don't know how to be more clear to tell you to enroll. If you have that person and it's not consistent, which most of us, that's the case, right? I have a mentor who is a mentor, and he's a damn good man, and he's a great human being, and he shows up for me. But I cannot expect for that man to show up and call me and jump on a call every single month, right? Because that level of consistency isn't in alignment with the level of our relationship, right? He's got a life. He's sold his business. He's living in his passions. He's doing X, Y, Z. All the things that I wish, want, and know that I will have, and I have currently in most of those factors, he's doing. So I know that that's not going to be consistent, because if he's living his life to the fullest where he's at, and the reason why I love him so much as a mentor, then I should not expect that consistency of connecting with them on a regiment, on a specific schedule or time. And that's what we provide our members at Impact Effect. Now, as I get down into the Plus membership, these are the things that will come with your $159 a month subscription. And again, $159, like I charge $3,000 a month for 1/60th of what you're going to get inside this community. And that is paid and not questioned, and never has been, and probably never will be at that rate and at that price per month, 1 month, 30 days. We're giving you this membership for 12 months for $1,900. Like, let's just get real with that. When you break it down, it's less than a business dinner a month for you to get this knowledge, to have this community, to find deep connection, to move through the struggles, and to have someone that reaches out and cares about your well-being and your business's longevity. It's amazing to me, and I'm just amped up about it. I'm excited about it. So I know,
Wait, really quickly,
like, Jim, go through the damn space.
I know, like I want to go to bed. Really quickly, because you just mentioned like the cost, explain to people what they're getting for free too, because I don't think we've hit that home enough with Go High Level. Like, do people understand like really what you're getting out of this whole thing? Besides two amazing people walking you through life.
If you paid for Go High Level right now as a business system within your organization, it's going to cost you anywhere from $105 to $495. We're giving you that platform and that resource as part of your monthly membership. So rather than you paying for Go High Level $105, you pay $159 to join the Impact Effect community, and you get Go High Level, and you get community, and you get humans, and you get alignment, and you get someone reaching out, and all these things, and this coaching, and these webinars, and these relationships, all of that for that $159 price per month. And when I think about it, and when I realize what the true value is, I would put this up towards $3,000-$4,000 a month. Like I really would. And the reason why I say that is because I've paid $20,000, and I know what the level of commitment that we are sacrificing ourselves to. And when I say sacrifice, meaning for the greater good of the impact we wish to make, right? That's not a negative sacrifice. That's a positive, willing and wanting sacrifice. So I just think it's an amazing deal. Like, I am an investigator when I make decisions, and when I buy, I'm the forensic. I have to look at all the pieces. I have to understand the value. I have to validate. I have to figure out the truth. I have to reference. I have to leverage and get credibility around who's doing it. I have to do all those things because that's who I am. So if you're similar to me and I'm talking to you, I've done it already. I've vetted it. And if you don't want to believe me, try it, enroll, join us. Because here's the thing. If it's not for you, you get your money back after 30 days. We're not here to take your money. We're here to take your willingness and turn it into momentum and positive impact. All right. I will go a little bit quicker. Sorry. Resources. This is where you're going to have our content around specific resources that folks have asked about and want and are finding challenges in their life. Because we know that if you're challenged by something, someone similar to you, someone who believes in a lot of the core values that our community brings and thrives and flourishes in, is most likely going to be a situation or scenario that they can relate to. So we have graphics, we have links, we have downloads, we have PDFs. We've got tons of information inside the post.
But we'll also be walking you through all of these. So if you don't want to self-direct anything, like we will be scheduling out again, like we said, what you're interested in to learn more about. We will be scheduling out lives so that we can literally talk to you and walk you through it. I think the biggest disconnect for me was joining a community and having them be like, great, here's the course. We'll see you in a month for our like group meeting. And I'm like, wait, what? I have to do all, like, I could have just probably watched a YouTube. Like, why am I doing this alone? And so we don't just throw stuff in here and expect you to just complete it yourself. We are going to walk you through it every step of the way by showing up every day, and bringing you what you need and doing the work with you, asking the questions, getting the feedback live. That is the whole point. So it's there if you do feel like you want to be more self-guided, that's fine. I'm not a self-guided person. I need somebody to help walk me through things, and I need to be able to ask the question when I have the question. I can't wait a month until our group meets. And that was why I loved what we're doing here. We provide it, but you can also wait until we create lives to go through it with you.
I've spent so much money to hear someone teach me the thing. I've taken the 50 pages of notes. I've recorded the conversations. I've listened to them back. I've downloaded the replays. I've reviewed the notes. I've done all the things. And I've always, every single time, still had a question. And the reason why is because the person teaching it may be talking to you about their experience, and yours might just be slightly different. The person teaching it could be selling a product or service that is so drastically different than what you sell. So yes, the framework, the knowledge, the experience, the shortening, I call it the dummy tax, right? Like shortening the dummy tax of what you pay by hearing it from someone else so you can pick up on those little things and move through it. All those things are great, but I've always had a follow-up question, or I've always wanted to call the speaker or call the founder of the mastermind or call the founder of the community and say, hey, can you connect me with that person? Or can you do a follow-up? Or these are some of the questions I had. Is there any help or resource? And even when I've paid $20,000, I never got that. So that's what we want to provide, because that's what moves the needle. When I go now to an experience or join something, I always ask what the follow-up opportunity looks like, because I know that I will have questions. I know that what you say doesn't fit the perfect mold of what I'm doing or what I'm in or what I'm involved in or what my goal is or what I'm trying to accomplish. So we want to bridge that gap, and we want you to really get the most out of committing to the time you're spending on learning and growing. Because at the end of the day, you can get into this, like I call it a learning K-hole. I don't, in high school, they taught us about like the drug, the horse tranquilizer. I don't even know.
Special K.
They said you go into this like K-hole where you can't like move or something, right? And like, as I think about that, like you go into this learning phase where you just keep learning and you keep learning, but you can't move. You can't activate. You can't take the knowledge and take action. And we don't want you to do that. We want to be the resource and the help and offer you the opportunity for the follow-up questions to get the clarity so you can take the action, to do the preparation so you can have the confidence, do the thing, accomplish the thing, rinse and repeat, show up, become a subject matter expert in the thing, and give back to the community and teach each other. So that leads me right back into the subject matter expert webinars. This is the next webinar we have coming up. You'll see everything that's coming up that will also be in the event schedule that we talked about. But this is where you can register. This is where you can join the live room. This is where you're going to live and breathe when you need information and you want to get in real time. The beauty in this is everything we do will have a level to it, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So you'll understand what knowledge base is going to be taught, right? Someone who needs to learn how to reframe a negative thought, maybe a level 1. Someone who has been reframing negative thoughts and is extremely stuck in this massive decision and doesn't understand how to reframe negativity, maybe level 2. Level 3 may be reframing the outcome after you exit your business, right? Like you see the different levels and the experiences in which stage you're at in your business. And we want to build that and identify that so you're not wasting your time. And we provide the level of focus and clarity that I know I wished and wanted in everything that I've enrolled in and invested in myself. We'll have the daily Rise and Energize. We do this Monday through Friday, every morning, 6 a.m. Central, where we talk about energy gains, energy drains. We identify those vampires, those energy vampires in our life. And we always ask, what do we know to be true? So we walk you through this. We share. This is an opportunity for you to share, for you to pop up, connect, talk, advise, and just be present. Be present in the community, but also be present in your morning routine and your morning daily actions.
Yeah, to me, this is better than like getting on social media and doom scrolling. Come over to the app instead. Come over and join us for Daily Rise and Energize. Even if you miss it, the replay will be up there. Start your day off with us instead of doom scrolling or going on social media, right? What is that really doing for you? Zero.
Exactly.
Start your day with us. That was sort of the whole point of Daily Rise and Energize. We're giving you a different way to start your day and shift that mindset right from the beginning instead of doom scrolling and just getting into that rut and that just low vibration energy.
Totally. Moving through the Connection Concierge, this is something that's proprietary to our community. This isn't a leveraged or borrowed idea, nor is it an AI bot that we're just pulling from ChatGPT. The Connection Concierge is here to broker both people involved in connecting, the requester or the person that needs the solution and the person that is being requested to meet with or that we know has and can provide the solution. So what we do is a request comes in and it goes to the Connection Concierge. We read it, we understand who you want to connect with, what problem you want to solve, what you can offer that person if there needs to be a value exchange, and what you know about that person and why you want to connect with them. So we take that awkwardness out of this person in the community blowing you up and leveraging the fact that, hey, you're in the community, we're in the same community, help me. And then they flip the script and they try to sell you their product. This happens in every community that I'm in Facebook and LinkedIn. This is why we pulled it off of social media, because we care about our members. This is why we built it uniquely and proprietary within our app of the Impact Effect community, because we understand and we've been involved in those situations and scenarios, and we don't want to do the norm. We don't want to do what's easy. We want to put effort into what we know is right and what our experiences have been when things are really good and when connections are great, and when connections are terrible or poor, or you're 4 minutes into a meeting and you're sitting there going, am I fucking being sold to again? This person hasn't even asked me how my day was. They just told me how great the health insurance plan is that they sell, that every other health insurance company sells. Like, we've been there, we get it, and we're going to mitigate and stop that. There is no cross promotion selling unless it's wanted and warranted. And that's how we run the community, because this isn't a place to get leads. This is a place to get value and give value. And when you show up for others, when you pour out, when you do the extra mile, when you engage, when you seek to make connection and you do it the right way, you're going to get all the leads back, because now you have an amplifier, a referral partner, and a friend. And if we can start there, the business will flow, the wallet will stack, and the revenue will come in. And if you don't believe me, let's try it. Because here's the thing, we'll give you your freaking money back after 30 days if it doesn't work for you. We go into member highlight where we talk about different things. Dr. Justin was such an influential piece of my life, and especially today's live. So I wanted to shout him out. I wanted to talk about him hitting 500,000 views on his recent TEDx talk. So we highlight members. We highlight those folks who are doing great things and impacting others positively. We also have in-person events. So this will show you what's coming up IRL, in real life, in person. So we've got some events coming up. We'll also be adding to that. We've got speaker interviews where we put in different speakers and different connections and interview them and talk about leadership, sales, and all the things, how they're making a positive impact. So if you connect, you vibe with someone, We want you to consume their content inside the app that's not distracting. You're not getting hit with ads. Your ADHD isn't being tested every single point split 7 seconds. Like I've been there. I've done it. It's why I can't get involved in Facebook groups. All it does is steal my attention and steal my brain power. But that's not the topic I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is consume the content we've vetted, consume the content that we know from the people we know who are doing the thing and doing it the right way and showing up and not just blowing it out of proportion. The speakers we have in this section are vetted. I've spent I spent so much time with them. I've been in the backstages. I've heard the way they talk to their family, how these men treat their wife, how these women treat their husband, their partners. Like, this is the content to consume. So we want to interview every speaker that's come into our lives, as well as going to come into our community. We want to put it here so you have that resource of vetted and organized content. Then we dive into the motivation bites. So this isn't just the quote, especially if you're someone that's auditory, someone who's on the go. We want to make this as easy to consume as possible. These are only a couple minutes where it's just my voice on a high impact mic, where it's clear, there's no background noise, and I'm just going over some of the pieces of wisdom that have motivated me. And it's not all the stuff that I've created out of thin air. This is vetted. This has been years of work to get the information out to you in these sound bites that will motivate you, that will inspire you. And we always leave it with a lesson and an actionable question to ask yourself so you can move forward in your life, in your business, and continue to follow your dreams. Lastly, we have all the replays. So everything that we do from a content standpoint will be put back into the community. And the beauty in this is it allows you up top here to search by keyword. So we're very specific on what we're putting into the content to ensure that you can search it easily and leverage the time spent on organized information to grow your business, to grow your life, and to stop just clicking and searching and doing the mundane tasks that are way beneath your pay grade and way beneath your expertise. So we want to organize it. We want to use the best keywords to optimize it so you can search it, because we're going to have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of content in here from all the amazing things we're doing and all the amazing people that we're bringing into the Impact Effect community. The beauty in all of this is you as a member can post in any of these spaces, because we want you to be comfortable in yourself. And if you have something to provide that's impactful, or an insight or a story or an experience, we want you to share it. We just ask that you share it in the right space that makes the most sense, so we can continue that level of concise intentionality and ensure that we're not wasting anybody's time and providing organized information for the members of the community. Down bottom, you have a couple links. Share with a friend. This is just our website that tells them a little bit more about what we're doing. So you have an opportunity to refer members and become an affiliate. We'll talk about that at later times, as well as being an amplifier of the brand and of the community, which has its perks and a specific program as well. I also put a link down here to start your day with this. I know that sometimes we wake up with anxiety. Sometimes we wake up with frustrations. Sometimes we didn't get a good night's sleep. Sometimes there's a tornado warning and sirens going off all night, and then you got to show up and do the thing the next day. Like, we get it. We get that mornings aren't perfect. And this is just a little motivational video that gets Jim Morris up and at it when he's having a tough morning, a tired morning, or a struggling day. So I just want to share that all with you, as well as the go live button, so you can actually go live as a member in the community yourself as well. And when we have an event or something is live, it'll pop up here so you can join it immediately. And then last but not least, up here in the middle, we have all our courses, which will be strategic courses around what the members need and how we can leverage some of those subject matter experts. Our courses are micro pieces of content. And what that means is you're not going to go in and listen to 10, 45-minute videos, because we know the lifestyle of the business owner. We know the lifestyle of the leader. We know the lifestyle of someone who believes in human connection, of the entrepreneur who's grinding, hustling, growing, building, and scaling. We understand it. So we want to build content and courses around actionable things that move the needle, but also deliver it in a way that makes the most sense for our target audience, which is you as the member. Everything we're doing, everything we've built, everything we've thought through, everything I've got and paid for expertise around building this community has been through the lens of doing it for the members. And that is something that I will die on the sword saying and believing in, because that's where I believe immediate and actionable positive change occurs.
Deep
All right.
breath. Oh my
That was a
God.
lot. So if you're still with us, feel free to take a stretch.
Yeah, I'm
As
done.
you can see,
I'm out.
that was
Oh my gosh.
there was a lot there, because there's a lot we put
Mm.
into it. I can't say it differently. At the end of the day, I've been thinking about this every day for a long time, and I'm just excited that it's here, and I'm excited that we get to give it to those folks who need it most. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for everybody that was here all day with us, that's checking us out, that's live, that's replay. Thank you to everybody that literally is in my stories and my DMs saying like I'm watching you and screenshotting. I love you all so much. Are we doing Rise and Energize tomorrow? Are we good to go? I knew it. Okay. Shockingly, I still have a voice, so I think I'll be good to go. Thank you everybody for joining us. I'm going to throw up a little bit of here. We'll throw this little thing up. Truly, just check it out. See what it is that we've been talking about. Hopefully something has impacted you enough to click the link, right? Put the website in and just check it out. That's all we're asking you to do. Do you have any parting words really quickly before I play outro music?
Let's break barriers together and create positive impact. That's
Let's
it.
do
Let's
it.
go.
Let's go. Thank you everybody so much, and have a great evening.